Hey everybody. I hope you're having a good week. You're probably watching this about around Thanksgiving, so I hope you're having a good Thanksgiving. It is the 18th of November. I am about 30,000 words into my novel, which means that I have about 12 days to write 20,000 words. Uh, yeah, so cheers. Last week we did Act 3, which took us 20 years. So this week we're going to start with Here and There Along the Echo and then move into Act 4. Depending on how long Act 4 is, we might stop after Act 4. If it's short enough, we might go ahead and finish up the game today. Here and There Along the Echo. When's the last time you saw a manual film?
Hello. You have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau of Secret Tourism. For a menu of our resources, press 1. If you have an extension to dial, press 9. For more information about our organization, press 3. If you don't remember dialing this number at all, press 5. To hear these options again, press 0. The Bureau of Secret Tourism is supported by a generous population of river creatures whom I fix up and grill as necessary. I am environmentally minded, and I believe all creatures are equally deserving of support in their transition to the next world.
Seems legit.
So I usually try to sing a little elegy like, small water creature, crab or frog. Now you know that sleep is all around us, like a muggy, tranquil fog. Something like that. It's easier
Okay.
to come up with these songs when I'm hungry in a sort of transcendental fasting state, but I've actually just had breakfast. A debt of gratitude is also owed to the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, who unselfishly and unknowingly donates this here telephone line for the purpose of this here informational resource.
Okay. I
You
like
can
it.
always find the latest secret tourism literature in any of our unmarked kiosks or any other old place it happens to lay.
Fair.
That's all I have to say about that.
I.
Hey, do me a favor. When you get a chance, call us back at extension 1928.
1928.
Press 0 now to go back to the main menu. Welcome home. For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1. For a guide to the river's flora and fauna, press 2. For help identifying an unfamiliar sound, press 3. If you're holding a snake right now, press 4. To hear these options again, press 0. For historical sites along the Echo River. Well, if you're dialed into this here informational resource, then you're a certain kind of beachcombing, bat-calling sightseer. So let's take a driftwood inventory.
I thought it would give me the extensions again.
For a diver's guide to underwater islands, press 1. For forgotten places, press 2. For secret tourism, forgotten places are the vital spark. Take no pictures here, nor souvenirs. Write no travelogues. We will discuss these places now in vague and qualified descriptions. For the town with no roads to it, press 1. For the silo of late reflections, press 2. For the monument to something that we don't remember what it is, press 3. I suppose it must have been an important event if we felt we needed to commemorate it. The monument looks like it was a lot of work to put together. I wonder if it was a happy occasion, something we were celebrating and didn't want to let go of, or if instead it was something so horrible that we never wanted to forget it, for fear that we'd accidentally do it again. There isn't a plaque or anything. I guess we didn't think we'd need one. For a diver's guide to underwater islands, press 1. For forgotten places, press 2. For restless places, press 3. For what little we know of the Iron Pariah, press 4. For food and drink recommendations, press 5. To return to the main menu, press 6. To hear these options again, the Iron Pariah is just what she's called along the Echo River.
Okay.
Of course, she once had another name, but it's been scratched away, maybe out of shame? Or maybe she took a bend too sharply and left her true name on a rock. So, what else? We know she was in the war, but neither side would claim her. We don't know if anyone's aboard. She drifts along the water and commands a wide berth. Tourists, if you hope to document the Iron Pariah, I fear you will be disappointed. She has a beguiling way of vanishing from photographs. Steer to shore and let her be carried along in silence. Pilgrims, I wouldn't dare to interfere. For a diver's guide to underwater islands. Welcome home. For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1. For a guide to the river's flora and fauna, press 2. For help identifying an unfamiliar sound, press 3. If you're holding a snake right now, press 4. To hear these options again, press 0.
How do I get to the extensions?
For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1. For a guide to the river's flora and fauna, press 2. For help identifying an unfamiliar sound. So, you're probably not in any danger, but why are you holding that snake? If you're involved in an exchange of some kind, press 1. If holding the snake is part of your spiritual practice, press 2. If you don't remember why you're holding the snake, press 3. Okay. What's the last thing you remember? Please describe your memory in as much detail as you are able, paying particular attention to any smell. have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau of Secret Tourism. For a
Hello?
menu of our resources, press 1. If you have an extension to dial, press 9. Now is the time to dial an extension. Now is the time to dial an extension. Now is the time to dial an extension.
What was the...
For a menu of our resources, press 1.
Oh my god.
If you have an extension to dial, press 9. For more information about our the Bureau of Secret Tourism is supported by a generous population of river creatures whom I fix up and grill as necessary. I am environmentally minded, and I believe all creatures are equally deserving of support.
Yeah, I've heard it before. Come on.
Next world. So I usually try to sing a little elegy like small water creature, crab or frog. Now you know that sleep is all around us.
I wish there was a skip button.
Muggy, tranquil fog. Something like that.
It's my fault because I forgot the extension.
I'm hungry in a sort of transcendental fasting state, but I've actually just had breakfast.
But I wish I could
Debt
skip.
of gratitude is also owed to the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces, who unselfishly and unknowingly donates this here telephone line for the purpose of this here informational resource. You can always find the latest secret tourism literature in any of our unmarked kiosks or any other old place it happens to lay. That's all I have to say about that.
Okay.
Hey, do me a favor. When you get a chance, call us back at extension 1928.
1928.
You can
Okay.
press 0 now to go back to the main menu. Welcome home. For historical sites along the Echo River, press 1.
Close it. Okay. Two 703015797.
Hello. You have dialed into Here and There Along the Echo, a guide to the Echo River for drifters and pilgrims. This guide is a public service provided by the Bureau of Secret Tourism.
I know. It's cool. Come on. A little bit faster, please. A little bit faster.
For a menu of our resources, press 1. If you have an extension to dial, press 9. For more, now is the time to dial an extension.
1928.
I just want to listen to the wind blow. Or even better, television static. Can you tune your TV to a dead station and let the static play into the phone? When you're finished, press the 0 button. Thanks. Welcome home. For historical sites
All right.
along
Enough of that.
the river.
Nope. Put it down. Put it down. There we go. Okay. Yeah, let's go. That was significantly shorter than the other intermission. No. Poor mammoth robot. .4 Context Backlash. General wear on the gestural gear mounting apparatus may result in undesirable play between teeth in the context and history state machine gears, causing stuttering, slippage, resetting, and skipping. Guess it could be slippage. If left unresolved, gear slop can gradually throw limbs out of alignment, blend motions, and decontextualize gestures. See also sections 1.8 General Troubleshooting and 5.3 Gesture Context. Troubleshooting, okay. 1.8 General Troubleshooting. Technicians of sufficient talent and experience may skip this section. General troubleshooting techniques include applying a cold washcloth until the hue becomes apparent, observing until the stability clears up, or tapping on exposed metal with a wrench. That'll do, book. My savior, our friend here is in a bad way. Any insights? I try to stay clear of high voltage these days. I don't blame you at all, especially down here on the water. I mean, sure, it's dangerous, but this is where she lives. And what brings you down to the Echo tonight? I always end up here eventually. The river is like that. It always has been. We picked you up at the Bureau tonight. Never seen you that far upriver before. I hope that doesn't mean you've been traveling on the Zero. Yeah, have you been there? The Zero? Oh no, not me. This old river rat steers clear of the weird highways. I've been traveling this river for more than half my life, more or less alone. I think I've seen it change quite a bit in all those years, but I can't say for sure. The water has a peculiar way of making a person forgetful. Some nights I remember a place, but it's full of strange new people. And some nights I meet an old friend in an unfamiliar shore. I wonder which kind of night it is. Act 4, Scene 1. The Mucky Mammoth. Kate. How's that cold river spray treating you? I thought I saw you squinting. It's hard water, you know, hard on the eyes. Still irritates mine a little, and I'm piloting a tugboat through it 6 nights a week. Don't be too shy to close them in public. Your eyes, I mean. People will just assume you're thoughtful. You need tea. So, Agroscipa agarita? Definitely. Peppermint. Dried spring agaricus? Dried spring agaricus. Milk thistle. And dried reishi? How far are we from Dogwood Drive? The Echo is dicey tonight. Bad luck for you. Especially waves and diversions. Dogwood Drive is by the Silo mail stop, but we may need to spend some time on the indirect route before we hit your stop, okay? And there's other business, mail to drop off, garbage to pick up, and a few favors to execute, all dotted on the riverbanks from here to there. I hope you enjoyed the trip to our little mammoth. On our little mammoth. Take advantage of all the amenities, fresh air, cozy bunks, hot tea, the video room. There are some pretty interesting tapes down there, actually. Unusual, I mean. Weird. Watch out that VCR doesn't take your hand off, though. It is untrustworthy. What kind of weird tapes? There's one with this woman. She's just like standing there talking, but you can't really hear her, and there's this awful hum. See for yourself. It's down there somewhere. Hey, do me a favor. Go ask Will how the repairs are going and if he needs anything. We're coming up on the next stop here, just refueling and picking up a few things. I could grab a bolt or some wire or something, whatever he needs. Well, eyes on the road. For we on mold and whiskey fed and... Oh. Wet gears. Wet gears? Probably. Who knows? First thing I tried, anyway. Down here by this little blue box, I took all the gears out and dried each one by hand, and then I loaded them back in again. That took care of the grinding sound, but her trunk keeps doing that sparking, clicking, weeping thing. To be honest with you, I'm not really qualified for this work. Kate's a friend. You know how it is, don't you? Kate was asking if you needed anything when we stop. Hell, I don't know. Scratch ticket? Sure, okay. How do you and Kate know each other? So, ever walked through Roland farmland? Just drove, I guess. Right. Nobody does it unless it's their land to farm. I mean, they'll walk from barn to tractor or tractor to truck, you know? Well, I sure did. I slipped under or over fences, and I walked barefoot with the seeds when they were just planted and tilled the earth with my toes. Hey, I should tell you where I left my shoes. Did you know I'm a classically trained organist? It's true. Look at these long fingers and pedal-gripping toes. It doesn't matter. A minor in French literature earned me a position teaching Artaud to Zola at the university. Well, some shitty governor cut state funding for our department, and I was demoted to mopping floors, running wiring through walls, or in dangerous places. I even operated the soundboard at the student theater. I left my shoes there, at the university. It was a protest. Walk without shoes for something important or tragic. I ended up by the shore, and soon I was drifting along the Echo. I ran for a while above ground, then it doesn't anymore. But I prefer subterranean waters anyway. Kate brings me along, and I record what I see and hear. I try to help with maintenance. I drop off the mail and pick up the trash. On occasion, I take the helm. Anyway, that's all I try to remember anymore. I listen to the river stories, and my own stories get fainter and fainter. Well, I'll just keep drying gears, I guess. Ezra runs up to Shannon. Whoa, slow down. It's slippery on deck. Do you have batteries? Yeah, of course. What for? Johnny said I could use his tape recorder, but it needs a battery. Oh, fun. Well, here's 4 different kinds. Surely one of these should fit. Thank you. You got your battery, small man. Go get some tape. Am I going inside? I think I just gotta go inside. Really? You were entranced. You don't remember this? It's okay. We've all seen a lot of concerts. Cyrano opened. His tape machine was broken or something. It got really cosmic. Right, at the flower shop. I remember that show. Sorry, Clara. Well, you have a second chance to hear it tonight. That was fast. Got the batteries? Let's see. Perfect. This one will do. So you hit this button here to record. Hold it right here so you don't cover the microphone with your hand. Bet you'll find a lot of good sounds just around the tugboat. There's plenty of tape in there, so don't be stingy with it. Just record anything that catches your ear. It really changes the way you listen, for the better, I mean. Are you playing a concert tonight? I could record that. Yeah, Clara came all the way from Lithuania just to do the Echo River gig. It's a tour. Tomorrow I'll be in Nashville, and then Atlanta, and then over to the coast. Brutal. Well, we're lucky she's making a stop. Johnny and I saw her play once, and I remember loving it, and Johnny was moved. Speaking of Cyrano, it's his night at the Rum Colony. Kate said she usually stops off there. Well, that's ideal. I'm supposed to meet a lady there to look at some old engine parts about 3 hours ago. 3 hours goes fast at the Rum Colony, ma'am. I bet she's still there. I hope we don't stop there too long. My concert is soon. I don't want to keep them waiting. Nah, it's river time. Nobody expects you to be punctual. Hey, why don't you give that tape Hey, why don't you give that tape recorder a try? See if that cat over there has anything he wants to say. I often use found sounds in my music. If you find some interesting sounds tonight, you can help me out. I'm not liking that we are gradually losing limbs. You know, it's the strangest thing. I can't remember why I came up here. Fresh air? Maybe. It's homey in that cabin, though. And warm. Just that thing about, what was it? When you walk through a door, when you go into a kitchen for something, and as soon as you pass from one room to the other, you forget what you wanted. You have to walk back out just to remember, like you left a part of your brain behind. Hey, I wonder if I could follow that brain crumb trail all the way back to the room I was born in. Looks cold down there, and dark. You're in that cabin long. Get any sleep? I had a weird dream. Yeah, that's when you get the strangest dreams, when you nod off right. Just kind of dip your toes into sleep and some weird image floats by and takes a nibble. There's all kind of trash down there. Could have fallen off the hall back there. I think that kid was playing on the trash barge earlier. He seems to keep himself entertained. It's good for him. It's important to know how to be alone. What's up, huh? You look like there's something you want to ask. You can ask it. One question. Do you really have to go to work at hard times? It didn't seem so bad, did it? It's a way to live. I mean, rent a bed, eat at the cafeteria. Not like I have a choice. Think you do have a choice. Gotta repay my debt. Hell, I should be grateful for the opportunity. If you want to die with any dignity, you gotta settle up. That's why it's such a damn shame when people go all of a sudden. Oh, this is so cool. I'm sure I talk too much. Everyone on this river does. Problem is that we listen twice as much as that. We're only telling you half of the stories we hear. Kate told me that I ought to have been a photographer. She said, you have an uncanny way of having been in the place at the time the thing happened there. That's the hardest part of taking a photograph anyway. Nice of her to say, but it isn't true. Though I know just about every story on this river, most of them I picked up second, third, or fourth hand, and so on. Listening, see? Now, I know what you're going to ask, so I'm going to answer it. Yes, I'm sure they're all true. I personally believe the story gets more true as it's tossed around from brain to brain, and the whole community brings their insights to bear on the brittle facts of experience. There are a few Echo River stories I witnessed directly. I saw that big owl migration pass through. You might have heard about that. I was there when the old train station flooded. I saw the ghost of Stephen Bishop brew up a batch of white lightning on a raft, or anyway. I talked to a few sailors who'd recently crossed paths with them, and I suspect sampled his wares. One night when I was working on the Mucky Mammoth, we picked up a gaggle of passengers headed down to mail drop by the silo of Late Reflections. I knew a couple of them in passing, a pair of traveling musicians whom I often encountered on the river. The others were strangers to me at the time, a young woman, a small boy, an old man whose name I didn't catch. Oh, and a smelly old dog. We docked at a gas station, so the Mammoth could refuel. Aquis? Ezra followed Junebug and Johnny into the gas station. Act 4, Scene 2. A gas station. We cut it close. I usually find this place upriver. Everybody's on the lake tonight. Gas station moves around? Sure. It's not anchored or anything. Could be anywhere up and down the Echo. You just kind of run into it when you need it. Or hopefully a little before you need it. I usually stop here once a night, though. To be honest, I'm not sure it's even the same one. Doesn't have a name or anything, and I never really pay attention to who's behind the counter. Anyway, it's nice to see you two. Most of my regular passengers must have gotten held up elsewhere in their journey tonight. It's that storm, I think. Look at him go. That kid has a lot of energy. It's got to be past his bedtime or something, right? I don't think he has a bedtime. He's Maverick. It sounds familiar. You don't have any, of your own. I mean, no, I guess not. I just realized you two come through here so often. We chat about all kinds of stuff, but I never thought to ask. About family. Who has the time? Yeah, sure, you gotta prioritize. So, how about that storm upstairs? Did you two get caught in it? I heard it kind of roamed around uncertain. I'm sure we'll hear all about it tomorrow. Flooding, property damage, probably killed a few tomatoes. It's got a river churning and everyone headed to the lake here, where the water's calmer. I myself don't mind navigating a choppy river. Not at all. I've got a good feel for it. Plus, it's better for fungal growth. High water consumes the cave moths, and their wet wings clump together into these little balls of nutrient-dense mushroom food, jammed by current here and there between the rocks. You've never seen a mushroom grow like on a soggy cave moth carcass. Amazing. If I could get a day off, Val and I would be out there all day tomorrow to harvest. I mean it. They'll be ready by tomorrow. The mushroom will grow just as fast as you can pump water into it. Hey, are you two headed out this way tomorrow? Maybe I could send Val ashore with you for a few hours. She's got a remarkable nose for mushrooms. You wouldn't even need to know what to look for. Put a bag around her neck, and she'll just bring them back to you. We don't know where we'll be tomorrow. I should have figured. Seems you two are always on the move. It does seem that way. So, I should get back aboard. No rush. I just want to brew some tea before we get underway. Headed into the station? Thought I'd grab some black coffee for the old man. He's looking a bit waterlogged. Sure, don't want him falling asleep on you. Nah, he'll be alright. He seems like the type who can hold his liquor. Seems like he has little experience, I mean. Hey, while you're in there, could you remind the gas station attendant this fuel is on my tab? Charged to the Mucky Mammoth. Oh, and Will wanted a scratch ticket. Thanks. I think I'll just watch the lake for a bit, man. Looking for crystals. I need a scratch ticket. What kind? Money minefield. Okay. Anything else? Sure, we have snacks. We have... How about some jerky? It's homemade. Not by me. You work on the Mammoth? I can add it to your tab. Oh, you know the tugboat? The captain, Kate, said I'd have to remind you. Sure, they're here every night. It's okay, I have one of those faces. Forgettable. Does it bother you? I've learned to cherish it. There's dignity in being forgotten, letting the crowd flow around you unspoiled. I used to live in a city, I mean, a real city, Cleveland, Ohio. I had some family money then, and I didn't have to work. I lived in hotels. In daylight, I walked wherever the people were. My only duty was to the crowd. I was its observer, its historian, its detective, its poet. Well, the money ran out, and I dispersed with the rest of them. I took my duties with me here, to Lake Leith and the Echo River. I live behind this counter, anonymous, invisible, but I live with dignity. And yourself? Sure, something like that. I like to keep moving. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I can't help it myself. I travel at the pleasure of the current. Snacks are in the back there. Junebug surveys a row of chocolates, licorices, cheese crackers, dehydrated, bleached, reconstituted, and colorized. Johnny seemed distant. Traveling with all these people might be like sensory overload for him. A bag on the bottom shelf is decorated with cartoonish pictures of vegetables. Through a plastic window in the packaging, she can see puffed corn shapes, and colored like carrots, tomatoes, and broccoli florets, and a few puffy white discs that might represent potatoes. What would it be like to travel with one more? Somewhere in there is surely a preservative, in case the rest of the process hasn't done enough to stop the flow of time. It may be best just to ask him what's on his mind. She turns the bag over to look for the ingredients, but only finds a marketing blurb, inspired by real vegetables. Shit, that floodwater washed you halfway up out of the sea. I was looking for you down by New Königsberg, same as usual, but ain't nobody there. The river's deep as an elephant's... Oh, didn't see you there. Sorry, pardon my language. Where are you headed? Well, in fact, I'm headed right here. Glad to have found it at last. I expect you must be Loretta. Enchanted to meet you. Sorry I'm late. Hey, is that coming onto Flowery or something? Enchanted? Repeating it now? I feel a little silly. I'm not Loretta, but I think you'll do fine with Enchanted. Well, thanks for saying so. And now I'm double embarrassed. Do I look like your girlfriend? Do I look like her? To be truthful, I couldn't tell you. I met Loretta on the computer. We met each other there. I guess we spoke through the computer and agreed to meet. I don't know the terminology. I haven't dated in quite a while. Back when I met Greta, that's my wife, my ex, or maybe I'm her ex, I don't know how to say it. Anyway, back then there wasn't even such a thing as computers at all. I guess there probably was, but I had never heard of one. I worked in textiles, so here I am. So, what's your plan when Loretta shows up? Maybe head down to the rum colony. Shoot, I forget to ask if she likes to drink. You really never know these days. I guess first I'd ask her about that. If she doesn't like rum, I'd maybe try to take her by the Bat Sanctuary. That's pretty romantic, in a sense. Like misty valleys and ruined churches romantic, not like flowers and chocolates romantic. Of course, they've got that memorial there. That's a little depressing, actually. Maybe we'd kind of sail around that? Damn it all. I guess I probably missed her. Wonder if she'll agree to meet me again. I'm sure she'll understand, with the weather and all. Nice of you to say so. Well, I guess I'll head on back. Hey, supposing Loretta doesn't want to see me after all? I'm out of your league. I won't argue with that. Actually, I wanted to ask you for some advice. I had to type up a sort of autobiography for the computer date, and I spent a lot of time on it, but I only got one reply, and that was Loretta herself. I was happy to meet her, but supposing she's lost interest now, do you think you could maybe give me some feedback? It's only a paragraph or so. I have it all memorized. I spent so damn long writing it. Okay, so here goes. I'm a good-natured man, retired, and spend most of my time sailing Echo River, riding currents of subterranean gas and that strange invisible wind that moans out of the small tunnels along the bank. Seeking a companion to map the river with me. I have 2 grown children, but they live far away. No goofballs. Okay, what do you think? Why mention your children? Oh, just... I figured it'll come up somehow? I don't know how people feel about dating with kids. Like I said, it's been a while. Are you proud? Yeah, sure I am. My son is a school teacher and my daughter owns a printing press. Good people. Yeah. Maybe I just mentioned it hoping there was... maybe I just mentioned it there hoping I'll get asked to brag a little. The thing about the wind is a little much. Yeah, you're probably right. I wanted to show my poetic side. I'll save that for the date. What was that about goofballs? I mean, like, serious inquiries only. You might miss out on some really great goofballs. You may be right about that. Thanks for your help, ma'am. You've given me a lot to think about. I'm ready to get back on that computer. You have a good night now. What's left of it, anyway. That's our song on the radio. That's awesome. Mushroom hunting, huh? Weird cave fungus growing on soggy moth wings. Sounds kind of romantic, but also kind of gross, right? So, would you like to ride with us for a day? I guess you'd miss Kate, even just for a day. Maybe we can still talk her into it. Sorry, Cricket. Nothing good on offer. Not even those little gummy pomegranate seeds? I didn't look. It's okay. I'll go check. Wish me luck. Good luck. Hey man, how's your night? Quiet. Where are you headed? Helping some new friends make a delivery. Or along for the ride, anyway. Well, even if you're not doing the heavy lifting or navigating or whatever, the passenger contributes to the journey too. I never travel, but I do love travelers. That's what I like about this job. The travelers come to see me. Meet some interesting people? I wouldn't say I meet them, but I do sell them gas. Well, let me know if I can help you find anything. Did my Johnny talk your ear off out here? I suspect there are some things you can only say to animals. I guess that's just how people are. Different thoughts for different listeners. Glory, it is good to be among friends. Suit yourself. What are you so excited about? I can't help it. Every time I step into that boat alone, I think this could be my very last time. And then every time I come ashore, back among people, I think, Glory, it is good to be among friends. Helps to keep things in perspective, I guess. It's a ritual of remembrance for me. Tonight, particularly so. It's my birthday. 5 years old. You know why I say that? Well, I'm going to tell you. 5 years and some days ago, I set out on the Echo River alone, or so I thought at the time. I was looking for an ice floe. They are occasionally rumored to travel our humble artery on their way from who knows where to who knows where, who knows why. It's a mystery. An hour into the journey, my lantern gave out. Now, I always carry 3 or 4 spares. You'll never catch me in the dark again. Lesson learned, buddy. But that night, when that lantern went out, I was stuck in the dark. I kept my arm extended, running my fingers along the cave wall, trying to keep my bearing as best as I could, and at least make sure I wasn't going in circles, and just prayed I'd find another traveler who knew his way back to the lake or above ground, or even just a crack in the rock to get a glimpse of moonlight. I had a large bag of apples with me. After a long while, maybe a day, I was getting weak, so I took my hand down from the rock to tear the bag open. Well, when I reached back out, I couldn't find the cave wall anymore, or any other. I was totally unmoored, buddy. Totally adrift. And it was so dark. I started counting time and apples eaten. I drifted in despair for 4 apples. Then I schemed and planned and dreamed for 2 apples. Finally, I came to accept my fate. Lost at sea. And this phase, I think, would have continued indefinitely had I not come down to that very last damn apple. Picture me, feeling around in the empty bag, certain that somehow there was another one of these fist-sized chunks of life-giving fruit, always softened by time and probably an unappetizing brown. Nope, that was it. Just as I was about to bite into my last meal, I felt a tickle on my upper lip. It hatched, right then. Couldn't have been a moment later, it would have been eaten, or I would have eaten it. My last apple was infested by a damn fruit fly maggot. Well, that should have been the end of it. I should have eaten that apple and that fly while I was at it, and put it into our little food chain suicide pact. But I waited, out of mercy. After all, this fly was basically a newborn child, right? A gross insect child, but still a child, right? Born into darkness and famine, hungry and alone. I mean, can you imagine that? No other flies out there on the boat, and never would be. No other flies to welcome into the world. I mean, no fly culture, no fly society, no fly history. A true orphan. I started to get depressed just thinking about it all. Worked out a thick tear. I'm not ashamed to say. Well, that fly landed on my cheek, right under my left eye, right on that salty teardrop, and then, blinding glory, his ass lit up like a candle. That wasn't a fly, buddy. That was a damn lightning bug. So that's how come I'm here today with you folks. Only because I found my way out of that strange river cave by the dim-lit rear of some orphan insect hatched out of my last rotten apple. Glory, it is good to be among friends. That guy's a trip, that gas station attendant. Did you talk to him? It's funny, he actually reminds me of that frog we had for a bit. I thought it was a toad. Oh, is there a difference? Toads live in the mud, frogs live in the trees. I never knew. Okay, so how does that gas station attendant remind you of a frog? Oh, I don't know. Because you like to talk, I guess. Maybe we should pick up another one. A frog or a cat, or an iguana or something. Feeling lonely, Cricket? Not exactly. Not like that guy in the gas station. That guy lets the world wash over him, static like a rock. But you and me both together, I mean, we're always moving, always changing. I think it's because we feel safe with each other, you know? Free. We can try stuff out, change our clothes, swap parts around, just play. I'm not lonely, just curious. With another person to play with, what else could we be? We can keep it in mind. Let's not rush into anything. Yeah, you're right about that, man. No rush. Oh, that's Kate. Time to hit the road. River, I mean. See that small brick building? It used to be an upholstery shop. Now it's inhabited by a very skilled taxidermist whose art is greatly in demand. When it was an upholstery shop, it didn't seem nearly as much business. The old shop's name has been lost to time and weather. This was decades ago, and the only trace of it now is the great frame of an old sign behind the new lettering, which now reads Trapper, Stalker, and Sportsman, and then below, smaller, No specimen is too exotic, no arrangement too fanciful. Some of the upholstery equipment is still there too, and still sees active use. Elise is the resident artist, though she's not the owner of the shop. It's owned by a reclusive ex-convict named Judah. Very little is known about him. His crime is generally assumed to be violent or otherwise gruesome in some detail. Though of course that's all speculation, probably comes from his association with the taxidermy business. Even though he never so much as skins a squirrel. He's more like a silent partner. I guess those are the ones you're supposed to keep an eye on. But Judah is old and keeps to himself, and consensus seems to be that he's paid his debt to society, whatever that debt may have been. We've got a choice. I have to use the restroom. I will be back in just a minute. Let's put on a slideshow for you. Alright, I am back. Sorry about that. I think I kind of want to do the rum colony. I think that the rum colony might be more interesting. I do really want to see the video collection. Let's do the rum colony. Shannon followed the other travelers ashore to a drowsy beachside bar called the Rum Colony. Act 4, Scene 3. The Rum Colony. Yep, sounds like him. Our friend Cyrano is booked here tonight. He's pretty good. He's a wizard at the lap steel guitar. Are you two coming ashore? Oh, sure. We'll be up in a minute. You couldn't hold me back. Oh, I don't know. Kate says just to wander back whenever. This is a take it easy kind of stop. She doesn't even blow the foghorn to round up the crew here. No point. Something about this spot is like wax in the air when it comes to timetables and responsibilities. I was supposed to meet someone here earlier tonight about some bike parts. Hope she's still around. I'm sure she is, ma'am. Half sleeping into a fragrant mug with all the other wayward sailors. I saw... can you... There we go. Shannon finds a bottle. Its label is worn away, but the words Hot Hell Rum are legibly embossed on the glass. The bottle is empty except for a sleeping crab. Can't talk to that guy. Can I talk to you? Oh no. Okay. Shannon finds a small box about the right size for an injured baby bird or a couple of mice. This box is only full of sand. She rolls a few grains in her fingertips. It feels different from the sand under her toes. Finer and slicker. She has the feeling this is sand from a different beach. Bureau, folks. The water is fine, invigorating. It makes me want to run. I could gallop up and down this beach like a horse. What's he yelling about? He wants to run on the beach, like a horse, he says. Oh dear. What's in these drinks? Your friend's laying in the sand over there. I think he's asleep. Poor Rick. He's lightweight. I think he just drank too fast. It's easy to get carried away. He always gets so melancholy when he drinks. Remember the office picnic at that big flat rock? Oh, I remember. He was talking Lula's ear off. She slipped away and he sat on the ground, nursing that brown bottle, crying, sobbing about the days that are no more. Poor Rick. It'll never be. Invigorating. Catch anything, Lewis? So, did you find what you were looking for? With Lula, I mean? It's a work in progress. I know what you mean. I've been working on... I think I will go for a run along the beach as soon as I'm finished with this drink. Try not to yell so loud, Lewis. I'm afraid you'll shake the ceiling loose. Something glints back in the flashlight's beam. Shannon brushes sand off the damaged VHS tape. The smudge label on the spine reads, Private, do not watch, but do not erase. Can I pick you up? Nope. Oh my god. The eyeballs pop up for like a second, and then I'm like, oh, there's something there. A styrofoam cup is half buried in the sand, miraculously intact. It still has some coffee in it. Maybe it came from the bar, or maybe someone dropped it here on their way to the bar. Maybe they weren't even headed to the bar originally, but drank their coffee too fast and needed a stiff counterbalance. Shannon thinks about the war of liquids in the stomach. Coffee to start the day, liquor to end it, apple cider vinegar to patch up the battlefield. Her mouth feels dry. She thinks about the nervous casualties of the liquid war. Clumsy alchemists transmuting day into night. She thinks about a chalky, gray-pink liquid her mother kept for upset stomachs. That was stored in the coffee cup, too. I remember in undergrad I used to keep a bottle of Pepto in my car. Just so that I could drink whenever I was not having a good stomach day. Luckily, my anxiety has never been that bad again. Hey, did you hear the ice caps are melting? I mean the polar ice caps, the ones all the way at the top. Don't listen to him, hun. He's all doom and gloom tonight. Don't listen? That's the answer, Don. Well, what else can you do? Someday all of this will be underwater. I'll be drowned. What can you do? Can recycle? Half measures avail us nothing. Don't be a pessimist, Sonny. Have another Mai Tai. He's just in a dark mood because the bar is crowded tonight. He likes to spread out. Are you aware that the American dollar is full of toxic runoff? I should go. Sonny, you're insufferable. Oh. Hi, Don. The American dollar. That's his latest rant, but I'm not surprised by anything anymore. Before this, it was bovine growth hormones and global warming. He's harmless. I just don't know him anymore, that's all. He takes bits and pieces of things he reads and synthesizes them all into some grand theory, and it's always the end of the world. But who could know that stuff, right? We can't even predict the weather. I mean, if you could take all these little pieces and predict how they're all going to interact, well, you'd know everything. I'll tell you what I'd do with that kind of knowledge. When I first met a man, I'd look at his shoes, and the kind of book he reads, and what he eats for breakfast, and I'd make damn sure we weren't doomed to spend our twilight years greedily emptying Mai Tais and arguing about the American dollar. Well, you know what they say about hindsight. Here's to a better yesterday. Junebug. Hey, guess who I just saw? Like an hour ago. Go? Wasted. I had to send him on his way. Why do you hang out with that guy? How are you, Patch? Oh, man. You know, Carl had that gig for a minute at AAA Burgers, but they went out of business. If our numbers were better here, he could just work on his record and be fine, but you know how it is. For now, he's selling flowers on the river. Say hi if you pass him. Hey, any of your friends want a drink? I've got time. Busy night, but everyone's deep in their straws by now. What have you been mixing up? Let's see, what's good tonight? My Dark Heaven? What's that like? Chill a tall glass with a little fine sugar at the bottom, then just keep pouring in gold rum till it starts to turn blue. Add sea salt, sugar, and a blue curacao. Some folks like grapefruit juice. I always include a little umbrella. What else you got? The aged rum noir? What's that like? 1 shot light rum, 2 shots dark rum, or get syrup. Think about something else for a bit. Throw a little umbrella on top. Frozen legs? What's that like? 1 shot spiced rum, 2 shots of gold rum, sea salt, refrigerate, throw an orange peel on top. What else you got? Suffering and fragrant? What's that like? 1 part lime juice, a few parts spiced rum. I throw a toothpick on there to soften the blow. What else you got? Suffering zombie on the beach. What's that like? Just enough to age rum to make your pupil vibrate. Then add simple syrup and lime juice to taste. Blend. That's it. Dark Devil. What's that like? Just enough Demerara rum to make your arms sting, then add white grapefruit juice and pineapple juice to taste. Shake, and that's it. What else you got? The Iridescent Death. What's that like? I take a medium-sized glass bowl and fill it equal parts sugar and aged rum, cover it with a towel and let it stew until it gets a sort of strong quality going. Add white rum and blend. Put a toothpick on top if you want to show off. What else you got? My Blue Heaven? What's that like? Start with a short, broad glass, lightly rimmed with lime juice. Put a little umbrella in the bottom of the glass, fill it over, and leave it for 3 minutes. Then slowly add gold rum, light rum, aged rum, and old rum. Look at it for a minute. What else you got? Old Nose? I was expecting there to be maybe 4 of these. This is a lot of drinks. Let's go ahead and... No problem. See you around. Cyrano. I am so glad to see you. These kooks are bumming me out, man. You see that guy in the sand over there? He rolled up, kind of off-center, you know, kind of leaning on the stage here, and he was like, what kind of strings are those, steel or nylon? I'm sure you were cool about it. Oh yeah. It's a mandatory around here, man. It's what the people want. I'm just a humble artist, you know. Plus, it's better for tips. Can't look like you care about it, you know, even if it's your livelihood. A crowd can smell economic precarity and turns them off. I guess it's no fun to give someone money if they really need it. Too much responsibility. Hey, speaking of which, I'm about mid-set here. Can you take the can around while I play this next one? It's on the tape. I think you'll like it, man. Thanks. She didn't have to do that. Had to hurt. But that's the way it goes. The unsteady studying of the unsteady. There's probably a $5 bill somewhere just floating up and down the river from tip jar to musician to tip jar to musician like an eternal ferry of good intentions. Oh, hey, come here. These two are pretty reliable. Where does their money come from anyway? Government check maybe? Nah, then they'd only tip like that on the 1st and 15th. Maybe they fence stereos or something. $15? Damn. These kooks are really going for it. It's good. Can't always hope for much with these fly-by-night crowds. Could have been some deep tiki fanatics getting uptight about Cyrano's tape machine or something. But these folks are tourists wherever they go. $0. In his own little orbit, he ought to stop and think about who's creating all the atmosphere. They think it's natural or something. Like it's just what this place sounds like. A cheap illusion. He's way gone, reflecting, or pretending he doesn't see the tip jar. Got anything for me? You don't. $0. This guy's keeping some odd company tonight. Better just let him be. Someone left a 20 here. Is that for Patch or Cyrano? Maybe there's enough change in the jar to split it. It's only fair. Alright, we are reaching the end of the path, so let's head back. Flames on the water. Turn the can. Yeah, listen, we got a problem down here. What's the problem? Man, it's all messed up. I tried realigning that big sewer grate under the livestock pen like you said, right? Who is this? Damn thing flooded, man. It's even worse than before. All I'm saying is we've got to get these computers out of here. I mean, we're running out of time here, man. Hey, I forget. Is that big green valve dump water or sewage? You told me earlier, but I've been so stressed it just kind of flew out of my mind. So should I turn that valve? Yes. Alright, you're the boss. I got an achievement. Patch speaking. Drink. Drink. An untouched drink sits on a table, forgotten or abandoned, or simply wasted. There she is. You have to try one of these flower drinks. I feel like I could drink 100 of them. Not too sweet, not too strong, you know. A real session drink. I'll be scraping you off the beach. Nah, it's not one of those. Not one of those really strong drinks. Just sort of... doesn't taste like a flower. I mean, not like a flower smells. You know, perfumed, sickly sweet, like a star thistle flower. You know, my dad was obsessed with those awful weeds. We had a small house just about leaned up against a hill, and every spring that hill would explode with yellow star thistle. Then he'd tear into them. Angry, I mean. Really offended by it. He said that they were an invasive species, like foreign squatters on his land or something. I used to think he was such a stupid old man to take it so personal. After he died, I mean a few years after, I came by the house again. It was spring, but I didn't see a single yellow flower on that hill. He must have finally got him. Maybe they followed him home. More old stuff. I'm drowning in old stuff tonight. Feels like I got it piled up all around me, like one of those old guys you hear about who never threw anything away. You know what I mean? Don't worry about all that stuff. Just try to stay in the here and now. Yeah, it's a nice idea, but I'll tell you what I'm learning tonight. I don't belong in the here and now. That check's been cashed. Sorry, I'm not making sense, am I? I just mean to say, I can't look at anything without remembering something else, and then that reminds me of something else, and I'm buried in it. I just need to get my head clear for a minute, get a clear view of the day, get oriented. There was a time when I felt this way. I'd bite the bullet, try to sober up and get a job. I think I feel the same way. Maybe I'll have to find a new kind of work now. There you go, that's the entrepreneurial spirit. I don't really mean starting another business. I don't think I follow your meaning, but I guess that's not really my role to play. For me, it's more like, get out of the way and let the younger, stronger, smarter folks get to work. Hey, I'm gonna sit and look at the water for a minute. I'll talk to you later. Don't be a stranger. At first, Shannon mistakes the iridescent glimmer for a seashell washed up from the lake, maybe some freshwater relative of the abalone, or even a pearl. But it's only a trading card. Must have been valuable for someone, or it wouldn't be printed on this lustrous material. Whatever was on it has mostly worn away. All that's left is a shiny backing and the words Gleaners forward. Can't talk to Ezra. Where am I going next? Ezra, come here. Let me talk to you. Guess we're just headed back. Well, that was a pleasant detour. Yes, ma'am. Ready to get moving? How about you round up the old man, if you can tear him free? Yeah, you're right about that. I never quite thought of it that way. Hey, we're getting ready to head out. Oh. Oh, sure. I'll be right there. I'm sure that's fine. The Skelly boys are fine. Yeah. It's easy to miss, but beneath that quarter-acre swarm of moths, that Atticus pitiocampa, the rough tunnel moth, their diet is mostly constrained to smaller insects, but they make an exception for sunflowers. is a quarter-acre sunflower orchard, and beneath that sunflower orchard, there are two small lots with small houses, positioned so they just about butt right up against each other. The houses are empty now of human life. There's no sign of a person or anything living except for moss and overgrowth. There are some pipes bolted into the cave wall near the perimeter, and a few stone scars where other pipes have been ripped away by the scavengers. These once supported the large grow lamps that fed the sunflowers. The lamps are gone now. Once this crop of sunflowers is picked away, it's unlikely anything else will grow here but lichen, moss, and rock formations. The rough tunnel moth will move on. The houses will be visible again, at least until somebody strips them for building materials, or the river washes them away. The houses were once inhabited by two sisters. Why they built their houses so close together, or lived in any proximity at all, is a mystery, since they clearly despise one another. It's possible the neighboring houses were an attempt at reconciliation. It didn't work. If anything, close quarters just turned up the pressure until the decades of closely held resentments and animosities were pretty near to boiling over. My face is so itchy all of a sudden. All that energy had to go somewhere, and both sisters had the same idea. They took up gardening. They both cultivated sunflowers, an improbable crop for this location. Too improbable to be coincidence. Maybe the sunflower had some special meaning for them. Or maybe when one sister saw her rival sowing the impossible seeds, she knew that she couldn't bear to be outdone. Which sister had the greener thumb we'll never know. The stalks tangled, the roots knotted, and the seeds mixed. Those gangly sunflowers merged the two lots into one undifferentiated field. The two sisters moved out, probably around the same time the moss started showing up. Of course, there was no selling the lots then, overgrown and bug-chewed as they were. In fact, if those sisters ever tried to sell, they'd been for a rude shock. Not long ago, a property tax clerk, having seen the two adjoining lots registered to the same last name, presumed they belonged to the same owner and raced the legal border between them. Act 4, Scene 4. A phone. Guess we're going to be here for a minute. Looks like they have a few calls to make. What are you going to do? Yeah, that's a good question. I just thought I'd stretch my legs, on firm ground. I didn't realize this place would be floating on barrels. Back when I was driving long hauls, that's the real big trucks now, I sometimes wouldn't leave the cab but to pump gas. I took my meals in there, I slept in there, I changed my socks in there. The whole thing. So one time I was hauling a bunch of big spools, telephone wire I think actually, up from California into Washington State. You know where that is, it's way out on the map. It's kind of to the left of here, more or less. In between California and Washington, there's a place called Oregon. You can't pump your own gas there. They have a guy who does it called a gas jockey. And you'd better not even open your door or they will get suspicious. I drove through California into Washington and I refueled in the middle in Oregon. So I didn't set foot out of my truck for a whole day. When I came up out of that cab, the ground rushed up like it missed me. Gave me a big old kiss right in the chin, right here. What I'm saying is... Hell, I forget. What am I talking about? It's important to take breaks. Exactly. Don't forget that. And don't say I never taught you anything. Well, I guess I'll head back aboard. Might see if I can find any of the good stuff stashed in the, maybe in the spice cabinet, maybe in the medicine cabinet. That's where it belongs. Hell, who am I talking to? Don't listen to me, kid. I'll see you in a few. Oh god, that hurts. That physically hurts.
I remember going to a house in Aroostook County, Maine. I was 2. We were moving, and we were driving up in a white Nissan station wagon with faux wood paneling. And it was the first time that I'd seen the house that I was going to live in for the next 7 years.
Being washed in the bathroom sink. I was just parking my car. I had to parallel park it. The street that I live on was full, but there was a nice. But it just got cold today for like the first time in a long time. So I had the heat on. And whenever you have the heat on in an old car, it definitely smells a certain way. It smells kind of like, it almost smells, you can like smell that it's hot, and you can feel it too, but the smell that it is like from the car itself, like from the engine. And there's been a lot of smoking going on in that car, so it's not exactly a pleasant smell, but it's definitely strong and it's definitely there. And with the windows down, you can also smell that it's cold. So you get both. And that feeling together is super familiar if you've been in old cars a lot. Anyway, I was parking and I had to go in and out about it like 3 times, but when I finally finished parking, it was like perfect. Both wheels against the curb, and that's when I had like the double memory of when I first learned how to drive. My mom taught me how to parallel park, and she told me the story about when her dad, who was a motorcycle cop,
Gross.
taught her how to parallel park. And every time she parallel parked, he would take out a dime, and if he could fit the dime between the wheel of her car and the curb of the street, then she had to do it again. She didn't do that for me, but every time that I got upset about having to do it again, she would tell me that at least I didn't have to be a dime's distance away from the curb. I learned how to drive in the fall, and I got that snow a lot during that time. And I don't know when my mom learned to drive.
Oh, probably going to school. I can't sleep because the trees are scraping against my window, and it reminds me of a tongue scraping against my skin. What? I'm about to cross an ocean. I worry about my dog.
Air.
You can't sleep anywhere near a place. The gas is sold. Not when it's being sold. It was tough to hold on to this thing, but yeah, my hands are pretty damp.
Call back.
I remember the number 10 in a flashcard with a turkey on it. It had a yellow background.
The frogs are too loud.
I think I'm done with that. Don't you go diving in too. It's actually really cold and kind of dangerous. Do you say where he was going? He's looking for the good stuff. I see. Still thirsty. Kate keeps some diet soda in the broom closet, but you didn't hear it from me. It's next to the bleach. Bring a flashlight. Oh no, I don't think that's what he's looking for. So, any important messages? Every single one. Where are you headed tonight, small man? I'm just following my friends. Is this young woman your friend? We met Ezra earlier tonight, and he's been very helpful. I'm hoping we can return the favor once we get back above ground. Poor kid was sleeping at the bus station, just lost track of his folks. He'll be alright. He's more at home down here than any of us. Trust me, I have an eye for it. Kate, thanks for calling. I hope I didn't wake you up. No, I can't really get comfortable enough to sleep anymore, except in the car. Oh, not driving, in the passenger seat, reclined. Eric drove me around the reservoir this afternoon, and I got an hour or two in. I couldn't get settled in bed, so I was just watching TV. Some cooking show about high-concept junk food, and everyone from my high school chemistry class was there, making cupcakes out of old bicycle parts. I think I might have dozed off a bit, actually. Honestly, this baby can come out whenever he wants. I'm completely over it. Good for you. You sound really confident. Oh, it's all an act. I'm actually... Oh, God, the phones down here are such a mess. Hey, Kate, I really appreciate you checking in. I have your pager numbers, so does Eric. Just in case I'm too, distracted or whatever. I'll let you go. I should try to eat something. Try some of that lichen oil I left, just to help settle your stomach. Okay, thanks. Maybe I'll just chew on some ice. Talk to you soon, Kate. Hopefully. Just checking in on a client. Did I mention I'm a birth doula? How does that fit with being a tugboat captain? Someone choose to come to labor on the boat, actually. For the rest, I have a backup, just in case I can't get back on dry land in time. I've been lucky and only had to lean on her a handful of times out of several hundred births. You'd never believe how many people are just born all the time. Is everything okay? Everything's great. Sounds like she's ready. Some women just know. It's amazing. Others are caught totally by surprise. Your friend went back aboard? Don't worry, he doesn't know about your soda stash. You were sworn to secrecy. It's okay. I got rid of all that junk food anyway. I'm on Star Thistle and Grapefruit Cleanse. I'm glad you phoned. I was just thinking of you. Sorry I didn't call this week. I've been traveling constantly. It's fine. I visited the hospital yesterday. I went to visit Uncle Andreas, but they moved him. Now he's in a hospice care facility run by some old Polish nun. Everyone says it's very nice. I asked them about visiting and they said they didn't want any visitors. It's just being stubborn. Yeah, it's typical of Andreas. I was thinking maybe if you come to visit, he would see you. All those afternoons he would go drinking beers by the river. Don't you think it would mean a lot to him if he could say goodbye to you in person? Nadia, I'd never make it back in time anyway. It's true. You're a long way from home, Clara. I suppose it can't be helped. Here's Mother at the door. We're gonna try again to see him. I hope the tour is going well. Love you. Be careful. My sister back home. She's very depressing to me this morning. My uncle Andreas is terminally ill and refusing visitors, and Nadia is making a stir about it. It doesn't bother you that your uncle is refusing visitors? He's a bear of a man. Wild animals, it's what they do. When it's time to die, they wander off into the forest alone. No, I said it wrong. They don't wander. They make pilgrimage. We must always take the dying at their word. Their motivations are beyond our understanding. The older man, he's swimming back to the Mammoth. No emergency, I hope. Should really try some licorice root tea. Ah, indigestion. I don't suppose any of you folks are headed past the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces. Not on this run, but we'll be coming back this way in a few hours. Well, I may still be here then. It's no big deal. I'll just hang out and read something until it's time to head back to work. Hey, you folks are traveling with that old guy, right? With the leg? Is he okay? I saw him earlier tonight. He came by the storage facility for some files. He totally bit it on the staircase. He's okay though, right? I think so. I don't know him too well. He's a passenger. Cool. Hey, I guess he's well enough to swim. Well, have a good night, or morning. Almost. I might need another coffee. That right there is Ratliff Monument, if you ever need a headstone carved for a loved one, I mean. Violet Ratliff, never married, nevertheless bore 6 children, Earl, Kelly, Barb, Ron, young Earl, and Beauty, and for each birth she locked the doors of the Ratliff Monuments for only one day, even with young Earl, when she was in labor for 36 hours. Well, that's what folks said, and I met her, and I believed them. She had the unyielding disposition of a cliffside. None of Violet's children had any desire to go into monument making. Earl was more interested in car speakers. Beauty thought it all a bit ghoulish. Barb was never very good with her hands. She ended up reading scripts in a call center, where she only occasionally has to press a button or take down an order. Mostly she talks and listens, which suits her well enough. The run of the shop fell at least to young Earl, the only Ratliff still at home with his mother finally passed at 82, and who then had the honor of engraving her headstone. He's done well for the most part. His craftsmanship has suffered over time. His hands, cut and bruised by misstrokes, shaken apart from the inside too. He learned from Violet, when striking a block of stone with the mallet and chisel, to absorb the extra shock right into his bones so as to keep the apparatus straight and curve the perfect line. He spends his time outside work just caring for his hands, soaking his bones in salt water, doing little exercises and stretches. And won't improve the straightness of his marks, but it might put off the day he finds himself unable to carve a line at all, scribbling on rocks like his ancestors. That's the day he has nightmares about. He dreads it like death, though he makes no distinction between the two. Shannon, Ezra, the old man, and I stopped at the Radvinsky Center to make some quick cash. Act 4, Scene 5. The Radvinsky Center. Good morning. Bags isn't feeling well. Long night. Poor kitty. What are you watching? Security tape from last night. Daryl left lights on again. Should we slash his tires? I'll leave a stern note on his desk. Spare the rod. What are we doing today? Right. This is weird. You know that old vending machine? The one that only has tomato juice? No. The old one, they just stopped refilling. Remember? We rolled it into the dock last August and some scavengers stripped it for metal in the middle of the night. Daryl cut his hand cleaning up after them, and it got infected. Remember? No? Okay, anyway, the rest of it ended up in the coat room until finally Daryl was piling it into a big bag for the trash barge to pick up, and he came across this box lost behind all the junk. Check it out. This looks old. Yeah, there's a bunch of videotapes and completed questionnaires. I looked up the reference number and it's never been processed, so I guess that's what we're doing today. There's no date on it. We'll just have to make one up. Unless there's some footage of a calendar or something in here. I guess these are the old tests before we started doing the video exit interviews. That's annoying. Oh my god. Yeah, let's see. How did we do this? I'll run the tape. You interpret the questionnaire, and I'll type it up. This should be some basic information in the first control test. Subject's general disposition. Why are you here? The other passenger said we could make some quick cash taking these tests. Pragmatic. Demographic category? What's the first thing you remember? Remember a birdcage. Mid-20s. Do you think we should use the old categories or the new categories? Oh, right. Will the computer even still take the old ones? They're still in the menu. Okay. In that case, put in precarious. Sure. Oh, I forgot. Name? It says Marquez on the file. Marquez? Are you sure? That's what it says. Do you know her? That can't be... Nah, that's not her. Did she come alone or with the group? I don't know. There's an extended monitoring tape here, too. We could check that on the dock when she showed up. No, definitely not. Oh, she's traveling with one of those creepy distillery guys. Him? Nah, he just looks like some old drifter. Maybe you're right. It's hard to tell in this light. Oh. It's... Wait, who is that? That guy in the hoodie. Me? What? I've never seen him before. Really? He looks so damn familiar. Thought maybe he was a former intern or something. He's a little old for that, right? No, I don't recognize him. Sorry. You're all deja vu this morning. It's scary. Sorry. Just one of those days, I guess. Guess the old man is on digging guard duty. A noble assignment. So, who is this lady? Oh, right. Well, do you remember WEVP TV? No? Okay. It was a community television station. The Consolidated Power Company had to fund it as, like, a punishment for owning too much of the broadcast spectrum or something. Oh, they used to screen your videos, right? Yeah, it was like a co-op. I did some maidenettes, and they gave me a slot to show my work. And they had that naked banjo guy late at night. Yeah, that's mainly what everyone remembers. I guess their whole mandate was community expression. He was certainly expressive. Oh wait, was WEVP the one that... The Flood, right? Yeah. Damn. So, Shannon Marquez, did she have a naked banjo show too? No. Let me guess. She had an exercise show. No, I've never heard of Shannon Marquez. It was a Weaver Marquez I knew. She worked at the station for a bit, and then she left on kind of weird terms, actually. Anyway, where were we? Okay, how do we rank her from the control test? Without turning around to look, please describe the following objects. Bookshelf. Three shelves? Shaped like a transformer coil. Reminds me of a library. Poster. I remember circles. I have a poster in my workshop, a chart of resistor valves. Lighting. Just kind of dim. Average, I guess. Okay. How many pictures did she remember? 2, or actually maybe 3. What? She wrote down orange, strawberry, guava. Guava? I think she meant the pear. See, that's why I hate this test. There's so much fruit that basically looks just like other fruit. Oh, guava. Does guava even look like a pear, though? I don't think I've ever seen a guava. I thought they were pink. They're just pink on the inside. You wouldn't confuse a real guava for a real pear, but in one of Daryl's crude watercolors. But I can still clearly tell that's a pear, even on video. Yeah, you and I can, but we already know it's a pear. She could be remembering wrong, or just identifying what, to her, is a much more likely fruit to appear in a painting, based on any number of cultural, social, geographic, you know. She didn't say anything in her response to help clarify? Let's see. Please describe in detail any sensations that accompany your memory of the pictures. Remember the way fruit tastes. My mother gave some mashed up guava once to cure my toothache. Not really. Just some sensory memories of guava. I guess we should just skip the pictures. That's a shame. It's really hard to measure memory degradation in some of the later tests without this one as baseline location updating scenario. I've been saying we should just use photographs. Watercolor paintings already have the quality of half-remembered dream anyway. Like they're inviting you to forget them, or somebody else already forgot them for you. Like a mama bird feeding her chicks cotton candy. Photographs are... It's not that they're really more accurate or true, but we think they are. They put you in that mindset. They have authority. So yeah, out with the watercolors, I say. But then poor Daryl would have nowhere to exhibit his work. Meow. Jen! Look who it is. Aw, I miss that kitty. I forget what became of the white one. Her name was Coconut, and she disappeared without a trace. Easy come, easy go? I wouldn't say easy. I had to leave food on the dock for a week before she'd come inside. She only stuck around for a month or two. You probably saw quite a lot of her. Remember you were working nights then. She was a nocturnal creature. That's right, I remember. Wait, I don't remember this test. Oh. Did we cut this one? What's the questionnaire like? No, this is just sometimes if I can't make it in for a few days, I might leave a note to feed the cats. For the test subjects? How do you know they'll do it? I write it on, university letterhead. Jen, that's unethical. At least I don't use university property and research equipment to make my weird video art. Very well, then, I contradict myself. I wonder which is a nobler transgression. I'll settle that question. It's nobler to feed the kitties. It's hard to argue with that. Oh, okay. This is before the CD players. I hope she remembered to rewind. They never did. Daryl would be in all night, rolling all these tapes back one by one in his little Walkman. He still has that thing. He says he uses it at the gym, but I think he's just too attached to his old mixtapes. He is so sentimental, our Daryl. These tapes had sounds from my apartment building. Did you know that? I thought it was stock sound effects from the library. Yeah, the CDs are. But when it was on tape, Daryl had me borrow a tape recorder from the music department and go collect them myself. He showed me a first draft of the questionnaire. I think some of them are still in there, like... What were you thinking about immediately before listening to the tape? I was thinking about my cousin. After the tape ended, how quickly did your thoughts return to that subject? I never really stopped thinking about it. Right. I don't really get the point of that question. I think it's just there to set a baseline for the introspection index. So all the doors opening and closing, those are all from your apartment? Most of them, yeah. Others are from the basement. We have these rows of storage closets down there. None of them are locked up or anything. It's just like this weird row of doors. They're not even marked or differentiated. You have to keep count as you go and remember which one is yours. Mine is number 8. I went down there a little tipsy once, Sunday cleaning, you know, a few glasses of wine. Anyway, I accidentally opened number 9. It was full of mice. Like for a computer, I mean. They were all neatly arranged on shelves, organized by some inscrutable quality. Cables tied with Velcro. The neighborhood mouse hoarder. A collector, I think. I guess he lived next door. I told Daryl we should add a question, something like... While listening to the tape recordings of doors opening, if at any point you have any expectations or visualization about what might be on the other side of one of these doors, please write it down. It sounded like a kitchen door. I was just curious, I guess, since it was from my building, like I have a strong sense of where these doors lead, just by hearing them, but is that just from my memory, or is it inherent in the sound somewhere? Interesting. You should write a grant proposal. I wouldn't want to step on any toes, you know, university politics. Here's another extended monitoring tape from the waiting room. Busy night. There he is again, sleeping. Where'd I know him from? It's gonna drive me up the wall. Does he work at the university? It sounds familiar. I think he might have worked there a long time ago, maybe when I was an undergrad. Ah, the Paleolithic. I thought he looked a bit rugged. That's right, Jen. I went to college during the Stone Age. What was your major? Fire. I don't think it was a professor. Maybe staff. It's been so long sometimes. Sometimes I wish I'd just barreled through like you did instead of taking time off before grad school. I'm sure it was the right thing to do at the time. Yeah, or the only thing. I was such a mess. Did I ever tell you about that? My boyfriend died suddenly in my last year of college. Poor thing. It's okay. It was a long time ago. But yeah, it really shook me up back then. He was studying astronomy. We were both really into experimental music. We took a few art classes together. That's so sad. I did... Sorry, never mind. No, it's okay. That's the thing, actually. I mean, that's what shook me up about it. It was just this random accident that never should have happened, and so sudden, you never could have seen it coming. He was back home, visiting his parents, and he fell off a roof. Damn, I know what you mean. Can't predict that kind of... what do you call it? Freak accident kind of thing. My psychiatrist says that that's why I'm such a pessimist. I think you're remarkably upbeat, all things considered. I mean, you know, that thing with your boyfriend and the roof, but also what happened at the TV station. Acts of God. You think? No, I mean, that's what you call it. That's what you say when it's nobody's fault. I don't think I believe in that. What? Acts of God. Yeah, but there has to be a word for when something completely shitty happens for no reason, right? I guess it's kind of archaic. First, please use the blank space below to describe your general feelings about television. If you have difficulty summarizing your emotions succinctly, or have too many different feelings to fit in the blank space, you may also use the back of this paper. I have mixed feelings about television. I'm gonna get up for just a second. I'm gonna go try to get my nose to stop doing whatever it's doing, and then I will be right back. All right, sorry about that. I don't know if they had this phrase or superstition wherever you grew up. When I was in Louisiana, at least, they used to say that when your nose itches, it's because somebody who loves you is thinking about you. So, hopefully, somebody who loves me is thinking about me, and it's not just allergies, which is probably the more likely scenario. I have mixed feelings about television. You were asked to watch several videos. How many of these videos did you watch? All of them. Speaking of the TV station, you were saying something earlier about the other Marquez girl. Oh, right, I was talking about Weaver. Yeah, what exactly happened with her? You said she left on weird terms? Yeah, well, so... Actually, she just stopped showing up. That was pretty normal. It was all volunteers, right? Community television. Yeah, people didn't really give much advance notice. They just got bored and drifted away. It was more like an art project than a job, for most people. Weaver Marquez helped manage the archives, like filing and sorting old tapes of broadcasts. I think she was pretty smart, but she probably could have been more help fixing equipment or something. But she seemed content to just organize tapes. Nobody ever talked to her much, so when she left, no big deal. But then a couple months later, we started getting these bizarre interventions. The camera focused on a table, passed through a doorway, then focused on another table. Which object present on the first table was also present on the second table? Sorry, I kind of spaced out on that slow pan through the door. I didn't even notice the tables. Someone would be doing a show in their normal time slot, and then suddenly the feed would cut. We'd still be broadcasting, but our signal was totally jammed. Oh, like interference? I mean, total blackout. Then this video would come on, clearly shot in our studio at some point, and it was her, Weaver Marquez. She'd be standing in the middle of the studio, facing the camera. You were asked to make note of a fond memory from childhood and associate it with one of the objects on the table on screen. Which object did you choose? Folded map. Was this object present on the second on-screen table after the camera passed through the doorway? Not the same one, but another one sort of like it. It's a bit fuzzy in my memory, but I do remember the sound. This awful hum, like that was how she did it. Like that was how she did it. She made a hum so sinister it drove our signal into hiding. It was night outside the building. When the camera exited the building again, was it day or night outside the building? It was night. Then there were these on-screen captions, exactly the same every time. I don't remember what they said. Something creepy. Wow. At the beginning of the video, you were asked to make a note of a memory from earlier in the day and associate it with one of the objects on the table on the screen. Which of the objects did you choose? I already answered this. Let's do the empty bottle this time. We had a title maker at the station, but it was a different font. I guess she recorded it at WEVP and then took it somewhere else to add the captions. I don't know. We all did a lot of speculating about how she made the video. Why she made the video. Yeah, why not just broadcast it normally? It was community television, right? Couldn't be any worse than the Naked Banjo guy. Yeah, exactly. Some people thought it was a protest or something, but I know she didn't have anything against the station. To me, it felt like something kind of urgent. Like she would have done her broadcast through the proper channels, but something came up. Crisis or something. This way. Yes. He's optimistic. How often did it happen? A lot. Dozens of times. It went on for years. We even thought about asking the police to look into it, but it's so hard to locate a pirate signal. I mean, it could come from any direction, you know? It's all just waves. Exactly. The camera passed through several doors with inscribed labels. Please write down the sounds you heard as the video passed through the doors with the following inscriptions. Travel. Footsteps. Nourishment. Sort of clink, like coins falling into a cup. Sleep. Music. Weaver's video showed up again right after the flood. Actually, I think it might have been the last thing we ever broadcast. Okay. Location updating effect on emotional memory. Subject is confused but not hurried, probably just came in a little disoriented. Of course, sorrow while recalling anxiety yielded no information. Just record this whole set as is, with the note like, yielded no new information. Damn. This is taking a while. Daryl will be heartbroken if this is the only box we get through today. Poor thing. He is like a paper butterfly. I'd say a moth. Oh, look, can you read the date? Damn, I can't read it either. It may not have even been current. I remember for a while we had a calendar up that was like years behind. I think Daryl liked the picture. What was it? Best friends. Every month there was a different pair of animals that were friends. That's adorable. I think I'm gonna be sick. You don't remember that? That weird intern brought it in from home. What was his name? Who? You remember. It was always like... I mean, we would make fun of him for... Damn, he's almost completely gone from my brain. So many interns coming and going then. I guess I didn't bother even remembering their names. I wonder who was working back when this was recorded. Is there a tape of the monitoring room? Yeah, here it is. Oh, before we check that out, did she flip the calendar forward or backwards? Backward. Oh, weird. They usually flip it forward. There she goes. Wait, do you think... Did she follow him out? Well, here's the less extended monitoring tape from the dock when they left. See? Told you he was one of those Sicily guys. I guess you were right. These other guys came to pick him up for work, maybe? I don't like how they all hang out together. It's creepy. We hang out together and work together. Yeah, but it's not... They're like more than coworkers. I don't know. I just get this awful feeling whenever I see them. Like, I knew them once, but not anymore. Like, when they make up a dead person to look like an old photograph of themselves. Sort of familiar. Sort of strange. Yeah, exactly. There ought to be a word for that. Bye, Kitty. They look like nice enough people. I'm sure she was happy with them. Yeah. Whoa, somebody left a scratch ticket in this file. Money minefield. Do it. Okay, let's see. $5. This is the greatest day of my life. Oh, wait, it's expired. Like, really expired. Damn. I'm over it. So, this has been a bit of a memory trip for you, huh? I bet you didn't expect these old tapes to stir up so much. How does it feel for these people to come up again? Weaver, Marquez, and Wise Will. I mean, and what was your boyfriend's name? The one who died in college? Charlie. Yeah, it's kind of a bittersweet experience, actually. Like, looking at photographs of people who have died or moved away. People that are gone. Gone but not forgotten. Not forgotten. You're right. Look at those easels and tables on the beach over there. They call it an open-air gallery, or probably something more upscale like alfresco galleria. They say it's a popular design in foreign cities like Paris and New York. That may be true. The appeal is clear enough, I guess. Anyone can wander in and out. There aren't any walls or doors. There's no roof either. Just a kind of thin cloth membrane. Not quite a sheet or a tarp, but more like a drape of rolled-out spiderweb. Looking like it might bunch up and dissolve if it ever got rained on. No concern down here for rain. Everybody thinks they're inside just because they can't see the sky, but it's a microclimate down here, and it surely does rain. Right now, they're exhibiting some intimate photographs of small-town life. A small girl playing in a puddle. She's got her back to the camera and she's fussing with something, looking at her hands. Maybe she's stuffing a message in a bottle or folding a paper boat. Reviews have been good. It's a popular show, probably because of its relevance. The town depicted in these photos was very recently flattened to make way for a big museum project. I remembered to mute my cell phone today, so please be proud of me. Ezra helped Kate forage for mushrooms. I don't think we're getting to Act 5 today. A grove. She lit a second cigarette with the embers of the first one. She trembled, sweating a little under a heavy coat. It was warmer near the doors, but she was following directions. No smoking within 25 feet of the hospital entrance. Kate gently rolls a fallen branch and plucks something white from the underside. She holds it up for Ezra to examine. Pleurocybella porgens. The common name is angel wings. Isn't that pleasant? They have a delicate, springy texture, and they're tasty like sweet moss. She stood by a hot dog cart, parked at the edge of the sidewalk. Would you like a bite? Okay. Ezra takes a small bite and ruminates. What do you think? It does taste like moss. Personally, I like to be able to tell where my food came from by flavor alone. I like to taste my surroundings. I mean, it keeps me connected to the whole thing. My mushroom hunting mentor told me it's useless to pretend to know mushrooms. They escape your erudition. The more you know about them, the less sure you feel about identifying them. She taps the cover of the small red book she's carrying. That's why I always bring my favorite guidebook. Kate points to a small mushroom growing in the dirt. Here's an important one to recognize, though. Look. See the sort of greenish pallor of the cap? Amanita phalloides? That's Greek. Phalloids? Amanita means mushroom, and phalloids means, well, never mind. Can you eat it? Only once. It's deadly poisonous. Deathcap. That's the name. It's killed a lot of people. This little mushroom, including a few Roman emperors. It's revolutionary. Even the Buddha died from eating a mushroom when he was very old. That's just what they do. Clear away old things, make room for new things. Pretty important, right? I've always thought they deserved a little bit more respect. Would you like to help me look for a few more? I have a sort of shopping list. Right. Look for... Actually, just grab any mushrooms that catch your eye and throw them in this bag. Let me know when you're done. We'll see what we've got. Have fun. That's the second rule of mushroom hunting. The first rule is ask Kate before eating anything, okay? Kate examines some tree roots. She spots a couple of intriguing growths along the roots of a tree, a speckled white ball and a cluster of softly glowing amber caps. The hot dog vendor tried to strike up a conversation with some immediately too personal questions. She decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he considered it part of his job, she thought, to offer his customers some kind of counsel. Maybe it was to salve his guilty conscience for selling junk food outside a hospital. Kate examines the glowing amber caps. The mushrooms are slick, sticky to the touch, like they're covered in smoldering honey. Kate cuts the bundle of mushrooms from the tree roots and puts them in her bag. Kate digs in a bare patch of dirt. It's a bit muddy from flooding or the general dampness of the cave. She finds 2 promising specimens, a spotted brown cap and a dense bundle of dark ridges. Had she ever tried any alternative medicines? Acupuncture? Homeopathy? Ayurveda? Magical thinking? She said she'd never heard of any of those things. He fished a stray hot dog out of the pickle jar. Kate inspects the dense bundle of dark ridges. Dark brown ridges and folds cover the surface of the mushroom. It has a pleasant, almost fruity smell. Kate plucks the mushroom from the dirt and puts it in her bag. Kate tries to wipe some mud off her boot. Didn't find anything? That's okay. Here's my haul. Kate takes the dense bundle of dark ridges out of her bag. This one I can't really use, but I picked it just to show it to you. It looks a lot like a very popular eating mushroom around here, called a morel. But it's not a morel. Kate slices the mushroom in half, lengthwise. It's full of white fiber, the consistency of cotton. This is the easiest way to tell them apart. The real morel is empty. This one, the false morel, is actually kind of poisonous. I forget what its effects are exactly. Here, let's check the Vermeulen book. Kate flips through the pages of her guidebook. Okay, here it is. Symptoms include wanting to fight, demanding answers, dryness of eyes, nose, and lips, restless sleep. Dreams of flood, of rolling stones, accidents, people transforming into owls, vampires, rockets, and traveling to the stars. It doesn't sound so bad, actually. Kate puts the mushroom book back in her bag. Kate takes the bundle of amber caps from her bag. These ones are really cool. See how they kind of glow a little? It's not enough to find your way in the dark or anything, but still pretty amazing. Anyway, I make a tea out of them. Pretty good for headaches. Kate puts the mushrooms back into her bag. You have a brother out there somewhere? Julian. He's going to come find me in the morning after the work is done. Yeah, we work pretty hard. We used to spend part of each night looking for my folks, but now we pretty much just work. But maybe that'll change now. I have some new friends. You have family? I left home when I was very young. Not much older than you, actually. Be right back. Years later, my mother got sick and I tried to visit her, but it was too late. She was all spaced out in fevers and morphine. I've basically been on my own since then. Well, that's not really true. Just about everyone who sets foot aboard the Mucky Mammoth feels like family to me. I guess if nobody's family, then everybody's family. Ezra checks out a plastic bag washed up on the island. The bag is ragged and waterlogged. He nudges it open with a stick, coiling up a plastic thread and spreading it out on the beach. He didn't like to play in the house. It was always too cold. It seemed to store up the cold at night, and then slowly discharge it into his bones during the day, while the sun bounced feebly off the windows. But he liked to play in the woods behind the house. He'd taken a knife from his kitchen, selected for its long, serrated edge. Meant for slicing bread, its teeth had reminded him of a saw blade. He was determined to collect some firewood to heat the house. There are no mushrooms in the bag. Ezra closes his eyes and listens to the water and the distant clicking of the bats. He tripped on a protruding root and lay for a while in the mud, examining the pale upper branches of a sycamore tree, listening to the soft rumble of faraway thunderstorm, then louder, closer. His hair stood on end, and there was a bird. What's this island for? It looks like someone made it on purpose. Oh, right. It's kind of a nice, simple shape. Pleasantly minimal island geometry. Months later, she came across a book on homeopathic medicine in a used bookstore and bought it. She thought it was mostly bullshit, but found the author's notes on the unpredictability of mushrooms immediately compelling. Spiritual, even. She started collecting mushrooms on hikes, never eating them, just collecting, identifying, and discarding. Eventually, she connected with the Lexington Mycological Society, began to study in earnestness the medicinal uses of fungi. I'm sure it could be natural, though. I mean, I don't know if the island itself is man-made or not, but I guess I don't know much about this place, really. It's supposed to be some kind of memorial or something. Will would know more. Sorry, it's a mystery. It's a mystery. Ezra investigates the cypress tree. The tree smells spicy, oily. Ezra inspects the bark. A message is carved in the bark. Ozzy. Ezra examines the large stone monument. The monument is covered with lichen and painted text. Ezra reads the text. X and O forever. Ezra inspects the contents of his pockets. I'll search for clues. She put out her cigarette, said goodbye to the hot dog vendor, and spent the rest of the afternoon listening to doctors and trying to understand the world as they did, as a list of discrete injuries to be mended. Alright, what have you got? That stone-faced monument has X and O forever painted on it. Interesting. What do you think that means? Hug and kiss forever? Or they could be initials. Xavier and Olivia forever? Xerxes and Oliver? What do you think that monument is for? I'm not sure anyone remembers. Somebody carved Ozzy into that tree over there. No. Oh. What do you think that means? It's part of somebody's name, or it's short for something. Observe 0 yaks. Old zebra yard. Ornery zoologist yacht. I don't know what that means. Yeah, it was a stretch. Well, Ezra, I can't say I know what that all adds up to. Like I said, I wish Will were here. He'd have some local history for us. We can ask him, back on the boat. Kate and Ezra look up at an old battleship drifting by. Oh, there it is. The Iron Pariah. Don't worry, it's just passing by. I don't know much about it, but I've heard things. Ezra's parents shook him awake. They seemed alarmed, but not immediately concerned. They led him back to the house, past the house, into the car. Supposedly there's nobody even aboard. No people, I mean. There must be something on there. Life is everywhere. Rats, insects, some kind of hardy mold. Part of it could be flooded, and host to some of the eyeless fish that live in the Echo. Hey, maybe there are some mushrooms growing in there, slowly consuming military rations from over 100 years ago. Someone told me she got close to it by accident and heard a strange wailing sound. She was a passenger on the Mammoth. She said she'd been out fishing on a rowboat and got swept up by a current near the cluttered palace. Before she knew it, the Iron Pariah was upon her, unimaginably massive up close, but eerily silent. The only sounds, she said, were the lapping of the lake water against its iron hull, and a faint sort of... well, she said a chorus of mews. I'll be damned if I know what that sounds like. I've never gotten close to the ship myself. More mysteries. They do pile up. Over time, as people forget the details. Thanks for taking me mushroom picking. Mushroom hunting. You can pick apples because they're right out there in the open. Mushrooms hide, you have to hunt for them. Dad said they were going to stay at the bus station for a while, the one with the little arcade with the car game he liked. Dad watched him closely in the rearview mirror, expecting Ezra to be excited or confused or scared. But he didn't feel anything. He hardly seemed to hear. In fact, he felt like he was observing the family car from a distance, from far above, from the clouds. See that rough circle of rocky protrusions near the shore? It's more intricate than it looks. More than 2/3 of it actually underwater. I haven't seen it myself, but listen to this. It's man-made, and the rocks weren't placed according to their size, so what's visible is a more or less uniformly random selection of the overall shape. It looks like it might be a spiral, all told, or maybe some kind of meditative labyrinth. At the head of it is a petrified oak stump. That was moved here from above ground, of course, decades ago. That's where the ceremony took place. The Lock-Lucks were married here. Many frail-tongued observers said they should just go with the Lock, or Luck, or split the difference with Look, or even Lick, or really anything else, but it was never going to happen. Marge Luck and Errol Luck were met in prison. Greta Luck and Norm Luck were high school sweethearts. Billy Luck and W.H. Luck met in line at the DMV. They took a chemistry class together where she challenged him to shoot the moon, learning formulae and compounds well enough to answer every test question exactly wrong and achieve a perfect failing grade. Their engagement was welcome news for the family business, who had been looking for some opportunity to merge interests. The Lucks ran a busy printing press, and the Lucks managed a fleet of bicycle couriers. These were the Lucks of the Luck Large Animal Storage and the Lucks of the Luck Family Nut Company. Surely someone in some branch of these two great trees had elephant husbandry on the brain. This is all speculation. The ceremony itself was humble and perfunctory, and it must have somehow involved these rocks. Probably the rocks marked the boundaries between the two families, Lucks on the inner loop and Lucks on the outer, or the other way around. It must have also involved that petrified stump. Neither family is particularly religious, but rumors persist that the officiant wore a robe. Act 4, Scene 7. Echo River Central Exchange. Verse C. Thanks again for your help. This is about as far as the tugboat can go. You know, noise and lights disturb the boats. The bats. I usually send Will, but he's up to his elbows in mammoth grease right now. So you'll pass through the bat sanctuary, which is really nice, by the way. Be sure to check out all the plaques and stuff for cool bat facts. Plenty of time. Anyway, the Echo River Central Exchange, or excuse me, Consolidated Auxiliary Switch number 30. They changed the name when the power company took over. Anyway, it's just on the other side of the bat sanctuary. This package is going to Poppy. She's an operator. The operator. We'll meet you on the other side at Sam and Ida's for our scheduled early breakfast stop. Just follow the river. Can't miss it. Oh, I almost forgot. You may or may not be interested. There's this kind of weird memorial sculpture on your way in just before the bat sanctuary. I always recommend people at least stop and take a look at it. It's really sort of... I don't know how to say it. You should check it out. Bye. Okay, it's just going automatically. We claim these helmets in the names of the folks who wore them, and we place them here in their memory, but also as a spit in the greedy green eye of that power company who brought up our old mine and traded our brothers and sisters' safety for a little more yield, but only yielded 28 good men and women dead when the walls collapsed and the tunnels filled with water. Their lungs were black, but now they're washed clean and full of water too, and swept through the hidden tunnels in some awful cave we never will find. And so we guess the water buried them for us, so let this here be the marker for their grave. And if any son of a bitch from that power company wants to take back these helmets as company property, just you try it and see what will happen. Hey, Alcorn. That's the mine we met in, where your folks, worked. Looks like it's been here a while. I sure as hell wouldn't mess with it. Think whoever wrote it is still that angry? I don't think you ever forget anger like that. No, I guess you probably don't. It probably stirs up, I mean, how do you... Brings back some anger for me, too. Yeah, that's understandable. I guess that's what a memorial should do, huh? Help you hang on to your feelings. Otherwise, they fade away. It's just what time does. Hey, boys. What? You're looking at me like I'm crazy. Just, sometimes I forget I don't even really know you that well. It makes two of us. You know, those guys from the distillery are just making the best of a bad situation, just like the rest of us. Hey, one of them said to me earlier they could even help me take care of those medical bills for my leg, you know? Get it all together on a plan. Consolidated. It sounds like a really bad idea. I don't know. They seem to have a lot of experience with this kind of stuff. They've got a whole process figured out. Anyway, I have a feeling it'll all work out. Even this delivery? Yeah. We're almost there, right? Hell, at this point I bet we could just take off the parking brake and that truck would roll into Five Dogwood Drive by itself. Listen, that old truck I've been driving belonged to my boss Ira, Lizette's husband. To be honest, Ira didn't like me very much, but somehow Liz got it into her head that, into her mind that he would have wanted me to have that truck someday. Maybe to make up for all the yelling he did, or maybe so his ghost could hold it over me. Just one more thing to feel like I owed him for. Anyway, they got their own trucks at the distillery, and now that the antique shop is closing up, I've got no more use for that old truck. I was thinking you could take it. I could keep an eye on it for you until you get straightened out. Sure. Okay. Sounds good. Visitors to the Echo River American Cave Bat Artificial Hiberniculum and Sanctuary are asked to take extra precautions in order to prevent the introduction of foreign fungal contaminants and the spread of white nose syndrome. Maybe that's what I have. Please do not visit the sanctuary during the same day in which you've visited any cave known or suspected to host bats infected with the white nose syndrome. Please do not leave your vehicle. If you must leave your vehicle, please remove shoes, clothes, jewelry, headwear, and eyeglasses to ensure you do not bring any foreign spores ashore with you. Please do not touch any bats or structures. The American cave bat is confused by light. If you are using a lantern or other artificial light source, be aware that it may attract and confuse bats. If you are approached by bats, do not panic. Relax. Stop your vehicle and switch off your light. Never touch a bat. Ever talk with your mouth full? Bats do it all the time. Bats talk in extremely high-frequency clicks, too high for humans to hear. Then they use their powerful ears to scan for the echoes of these ultrasonic clicks. By comparing very subtle differences in the time these echoes take to come back, differences of just millionths of a second, bats are able to picture their environment with enough accuracy to catch a flying insect. Once a bat has caught an insect in its mouth, it's still flying, and so it still needs to avoid running into anything. So bats keep clicking away, even while they munch on a tasty bug snack. It may be poor table manners, but it's crucial for surviving in the dark. I wonder how the other bats know whether one of them is really talking or just chasing a bug. I think when they're actually communicating, it sounds more like singing. I'd like to hear that. The American cave bat's natural diet mostly consists of moths and other small insects that breed along the river. Here at the artificial hiberniculum and sanctuary, we use a combination of chemical snares and ultrasonic wards to repel all potentially contaminant-bearing insects and replace them with our own locally bred and spawned hypoallergenic antiseptic pseudomoths, which we call the little gray nothing moth. You may be thinking that the other moths and insects the American cave bat would have been eating are very much relieved that their natural predator has found another food source. Not so. We've installed netting and highly effective moth traps along the river where the American cave bats normally hunt, to balance their escape from the food chain. But eating moths isn't the only systemic contribution these bats make. They also produce a potent fertilizer in the form of guano that helps plant life thrive along the Echo River, the shore of the Lake Leith. In order to minimize the sanctuary's impact on the subterranean aquaculture, we collect the precarious guano here at the hiberniculum and manually distribute throughout the caves. It's a full-time job. Sounds like a lot of work. I wonder how the bats would feel about their guano being taken like that. Maybe it's better they don't know. Like bat plumbing. I mean, I never think about where it goes, you know? It kind of bothers me, like they're tricking the bats. Yeah, in this case, I think it's about survival. I mean, if that's the bottom line, what's the difference? Like the folks in the mine, you said they used to buy stuff, fans, canaries, all those little trinkets, to make it bearable. There's still a lot of stuff down there. It feels cluttered, but human. I just mean, all people need is enough to pretend we're home, and we can make it anywhere. You get kind of philosophical when you're drinking. Did anyone ever tell you that? Yeah, I guess I do. Nah, this is nothing. I used to have this drinking buddy who would get loaded and tell the weirdest damn riddles, like, which is more musical, a truck passing by a factory or a truck passing by a music school? Count your blessings. I suppose it depends on whether it's the students or the workers hearing the truck. Hi, Umbrella. Ella. A. White nose syndrome is still largely a mystery. We suspect that the white fungal growth which appears on bats' faces and wings irritates and confuses them, causing them to awaken early from hibernation and venture outside, depleting stored energy they need to survive the winter. But biologists are nowhere near curing this disease. It spreads quickly, and it is highly fatal. In this way, white nose syndrome has drawn some comparisons to colony collapse disorder, as suffered by bees. White nose syndrome and colony collapse disorder are sudden, violent, and mysterious. Will honeybees and the American cave bat be two more lost species, wiped out in a geological blink and forgotten to natural history? It's possible that a cure won't be identified in time, so the sanctity of this artificial hiberniculum is our best hope of preserving them. I always feel like I get on a roll, and then all of a sudden I lose it, and I don't understand how to keep it going. As you leave the Echo River American Cave Bat Hiberniculum and Sanctuary, please make sure your vehicle and clothing are free of hitchhikers. Maybe I just need more practice. I saw one of my old coworkers yesterday. She was in a different department, but we did know each other. I was working a FAFSA event, and so after the FAFSA event, we were walking back together until I went to my car and she went to her office. But it was one of those things where I was like, I've talked to maybe 10 people who I don't service at work in the past 2 years. I was like, humans aren't supposed to live like that. Oh, hi. I remember you. What are you doing down here? I'm just exploring. I like dark underground places. I'm a romantic. So am I think. Yeah, you'd have to be to hang out down here. Okay, bye. Bye. Careful up there. Can't drive your new truck if you slip and break your legs. Just don't fall asleep. Oh, very little risk of that. I've got a lot on my mind. I just mean keep your eyes open and don't look back. Could be bypassed with another capacitor at 100 nanofarads to reduce noise. If your circuit's too noisy, you should tie those floating pins to the ground. It's a pretty good idea. Probably picking up all kinds of radio interference. Dashiell Morse, pleased to meet you. We don't install this type of phone for customers anymore, but there are quite a few of them still in circulation. Anyway, the new system doesn't source enough current to ring these old bells, so I'm trying to come up with a workaround. Maybe a little box the customer could attach right before the wall jack. I'm a bit of a circuit geek myself. I bet. I mean, you seem very comfortable with the electronics. Is this your first time down here? Yeah, I can tell. Your eyes can't quite adjust to the light. It takes some practice. Believe it or not, I've been coming here since I was a kid for one reason or the next. Back then, this place was a train station. It's true. They had bats then too, but they were considered a nuisance. What did you come here for as a kid? I usually came here with my grandmother. We took the train out to the town she lived in, or in the other direction back to my parents' home. In my memories, it was always cold. Winter, I guess. Sometimes now I walk along the tunnel, run my hand along these wet stone walls, and close my eyes. Ringing footsteps in the drip 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 of the grimy stalactites. Well, the river shifted, and this place slowly filled with water, carrying the trains away with the current. It does that, the river, and I don't begrudge it. It's a good reminder that everything we have is borrowed. Even trains. Eventually, someone at the Bureau of Reclaimed Spaces heard this place was still empty, so they moved the phone company in here. I returned here as a young lineman, a skill I picked up in the wartime, running telephone wires behind the enemy lines. We used trees instead of poles. I miss that, actually. They were easy to climb. It's just as well. I'm in no shape to be climbing anything these days. The closest I get is patching up these wiring in the crystal room for the WEVP folks. WEVP, that's community television. I volunteered there for a number of years. I know everybody over there. Ralph, Sherry, Weaver, Dave. Weaver Marquez? Sure, Weaver Marquez. That's funny. I was just thinking about her. Yeah, I met her a couple times at the TV station. I suppose I didn't know her too well. She handled the archives, and I was helping with wiring and stuff. She really seemed to know her way around all the gear, though. She had a head for signals, I think. No idea where she ended up. I would guess she's probably not too popular around the station anymore, but I always liked her. Listen, miss, if you're interested in WEVP, you should go talk to them directly. They're always looking for volunteers. Take the ferry over to the silo. There's a mail stop there. They don't have a sign or anything, just ask around. I guess I'll get back to this damn old ringer. Poppy's just a little further down if you're dropping off that package. Nice chatting with you. Abel and Eloise, lovers couriers. Bred for racing, Abel and Eloise spent most of their lives as carrier pigeons in the employ of the Echo River Avian Post. They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an They retired here after Abel was disfigured in an accident with a light aircraft, but old habits were hard to die. Abel and Eloise would pick up scraps of paper from the ground, the trash, even pull them out of pockets and deliver them to other people nearby to delight or embarrassment. Word spread, and travelers passing through this tunnel began to come prepared with love letters, poems, and other written desires to pass along indirectly through these pigeons. After a hard day's work, Abel and Eloise would always be found nestled closely together in a disused newspaper stand set aside for their habitation, and that's where he left them. Cute birds. Poppy! Just set it right over there by the lamp, sweetie. Thanks. Actually, just a moment. Who does that parcel claim to be from? There's no label on it. Well, if we're lucky, it's chocolates from a secret admirer and not a snake from an assassin. Who are you? Do you work for the post office or the tugboat? I only ask because I haven't seen you before. Was that you I heard chatting down the hall? Yeah, I just met Dashiell. He's been working on that obsolete ringer, hasn't he? Poor Dashiell. You know, he's not really... He was let go a while back, a long while actually. When they started restructuring, he was one of the first to go, but he talked them into letting him come every day and fiddle with some interminable project. He says it's to keep a long gap from growing his resume, but I think he just has nothing better to do. One of those old men needs to work, you know. Doesn't know how to be any other way. Doesn't know how to be any other way. Well, there are no real jobs here, but there are fake jobs, I guess. It wasn't always like this. When I came to work at the Echo River Central Exchange, there were 12 of us. Loretta, Edna, Meg, Kara, Marie, Louis, Liz, Hester, Angie, Wilma, Connie. I was number 12. Connie and I were hired on the same day, but she showed up early. Marie finished college, and Hester was fired for snapping at a rude caller. But he had it coming, and I hear she did just fine on her own, so they hired Beryl, Jaina, and Sachiko, which brought us up to 13, and that was as many operators as we ever had here at one time. The power company came along, buying up all the lines, and one day they took the exchange as a throw-in, like it was nothing. Nothing. They started phasing us out. Edna, Meg, Kara, and Louis left one Friday evening, and were asked not to come back on Monday morning. Beryl saw the writing on the wall and quickly found employment at a private PBX. They had Yana and Liz stop routing calls and write up some kind of best practices document instead. It was their final task as exchange employees. Some of the girls reassigned to other divisions. Connie, I think, was checking residential meters. Sachiko and Wilma were moved into their energy sales, cold-calling businesses to see if they needed to upgrade their electricity plan. At least they were still on the phone. Then it was just Loretta, Angie, and me. We were swamped, and hours were hell and hard on the throat. The voice with a smile became a croak. I was gargling warm salt water in the break room, sipping from a thermos full of hot honey broth stashed under my chair. I brought a lot of extended technique to the switchboard in those days. Sounded pretty good to me. He's got the voltage too high. He'll burn out the relay. It was just Loretta, Angie, and you. They were the smart ones. It's how they held on so long. They went into voice work, recording canned phrases for IVR systems and robocall polling. I could never do that. So after a few months, it was just me. A new automation strategy was announced, and this place was rechristened Consolidated Auxiliary Switch Number 30. If it's automated, what do you do here? It's not fully automated. There are still gaps in functionality that need a human touch. And you know, it really is all about touch here. Sound is a vibration, a touch you feel in your ear. So my voice is my touch. When we're talking, we're touching, even on the phone. That's the electronic touch. An intimate little shock that makes your tiny hairs tremble. But that's not even what I mean when I say it's all about the touch here. When the power company first tried automating this old exchange with fancy new transistor arrays, the switchboard caught fire. It was just too much, too fast. They tried using some clunky old mechanical relays, but then the calls were getting mismatched and out of sync. It was a nightmare. Their technicians determined that the phone system down here had been designed ad hoc, over decades, around the specific tempo of its human operators. So, short of replacing the whole thing, not to mention all the wiring, they'd have to work out the exact timing of every little human gesture that goes into routing a phone call. And that, officially, is my role here. I run the switchboard for the whole exchange. Once the work of 12, I'd like to remind you. They have some kind of machine somewhere that tracks how long it takes me to do each little thing. The caller never hears my voice now. They dial, my little indicator light switch on, and I make the connection. Do you miss talking to the callers? You know, there's something that bothers me about the process, besides the fact that I'm training my replacement, who isn't even human. Here's what I mean. How long do you think it should take to time my every move and recreate the timing in an automated switchboard? Rough estimate. Maybe a week. That's what I said. But this has been going on for over a year. And a very dark thought has started to nag at me. What if there is no cheap machine that's going to replace me? What if it's cheaper just to keep me here, filling in for the rhythm of the operators? What if I'm the cheap machine? You're not a machine. Nice of you to notice. I'm more at the Echo River Central Exchange, and I carry a torch for the voice with a smile. But at least I'm keeping some part of it human, right? Even if it's not the best part. Oh. Parcel. Right over there by the lamp is fine. Thanks for dropping that off. Take care. Think of me when you dial 0. End of Act 4. Hello. Oh, okay. She returned on the dinghy alone. She had a strong and sudden urge to shut the motor off and let the current take her, but she couldn't work out where that impulse came from, so she did her best to resist it. She met a painter of shipwrecks. He never worked from photographs, so his paintings could be divided into 2 categories. There were the ones he painted from life, and the Echo River was a very good source for those because its currents were so unpredictable and the tunnels so dark. He rendered these in oil paints by lamplight, working for hours cross-legged on the porch of his houseboat/studio. Then there were the ones he painted from memory, mostly the memory of a single wreck he encountered as a much younger man, picking up litter where the coastal highway cleaves to the rocky beaches of Northern California. These were done in watercolor. He preferred to work on them in the morning in a room he rented near the airport in Louisville. He had some postcard-sized sketches in charcoal, too, of the Iron Pariah. It wasn't a wreck exactly, but it felt right. He tried to scribble one down every time he encountered it, though it was so unpredictable. Oh, God. And he was so focused on details, he usually just ended up with a handful of inscrutable marks. She met a guitar player pedaling a floating bicycle with his dog in tow. He said they took turns. The water was cold, and the floating bicycle, while technically marvelous, wasn't quite buoyant enough for the both of them. Swimming is hard work, the hardest work that a dog had ever done, he expected. They had been traveling this way for most of the night, struggling through the icy water, stopping to recover when they could find a rock large enough to start a small campfire. He had his belongings stuffed into a weathered guitar case at the end of a thin rope. It floated pretty well, so he only had to keep an eye on it and occasionally free it from a rock or some driftwood it was caught on. She asked if he had a guitar in his case or just clothes. He would have played her something, but the case leaked a bit, and he didn't think it would sound right until he had time to dry it out. She met a family of 5 on a flat-bottom skiff. The boat was loaded to capacity with black plastic bags and a few larger pieces of furniture wrapped in a blue tarp. 3 paddled, the two adults and the older children, and the 2 younger children slept. They had been traveling all night, first by car and then for the last few hours by boat. Hungry and tired, they didn't plan to stop until they reached West Virginia, where a relative had offered to take them in. But the adults were happy to take a break from paddling in weary silence. They asked her about her river journey. She said she was on the way to Sam and Ida's. They'd brought some food, and the kids had packed the garden clean earlier the day, so they'd been snacking on fresh bell peppers and tomatoes and some crackers, rationed carefully for the trip. They wished her well and paddled on toward West Virginia. She gave in, shut off the motor, and floated for a while. Then she knew what she was craving. A moment of silence. Kind of wish that the music had faded out when it said a moment of silence. I know, I'm a hipster. Sam and Ida's. Is it our old friends? Just in time. We've already finished eating, but we're about to place a to-go order for Clara. She's back on board, getting ready for the show. Take a look at the menu. I'm sure there's something to like. Ida is a bit of a local celebrity. For cooking, I mean. Hey, Ezra was just asking about you. He's around the corner playing a video game. Maybe go let him know you two are back, or... Where's the old man, anyway? Bad luck. You'll get it next time. Hey, got a quarter? He's almost got this. It's true. Sure, I have 1 quarter. Thank you. So, where's... They took him. Damn. Yeah, he really got himself into a situation there. Yeah, I'm gonna sit down. Cool. The food is good here. I think everyone else is finishing up, but you could probably get something to go. Alright, Claw Maestro, let's give it another shot. So, let's see what's on top of the pile. There's stuffed octopus, a plastic bag full of clamshells, a cowboy hat, and some big headphones. That octopus has a leg wrapped around the boombox underneath it. The shells are pretty clear, but I don't know if the claw can really grip the bag well. The cowboy hat is in the corner, so it's kind of tricky to tell if it's wedged in or not. Those headphones might be a good bet, but I can't see the cord. Could be wrapped around something. What are you going to try for? I can get the octopus. Wow, alright. I admire your confidence. Okay, when I put this quarter in, you'll have about 8 seconds to grab your prize. The octopus is square in the middle. Let me know if you need help lining it up. I've got a slightly different view of the field from up here. Ready? Here we go. 8. Front left corner. Right. 6. Yeah, looks good to me. Go for it. The octopus is attached too securely to the plastic boombox beneath it. It slips from the claw's grasp. Ah, no good. I had a feeling that octopus was a little too comfortable in there. Hey, listen, it sounds like that old man you were following around, I guess he had to leave. Is he coming back? Well, probably not. He's got himself on a trajectory, you know? I don't know what kind of plans you have now, but if you need help figuring out your next move, you can always talk to me and Miss Junebug. Just wanted to make sure you knew that. I'll meet up with Julian when we get back above ground and go back to the museum. Oh yeah, he's your brother, you said, right? Hey, maybe we still have time to poke around this place a little. They have some pretty wild stuff up here. Hey, did you see this? They keep a table full of fake food over here. I've never known why. Actually, I think it might be real food coated with shellac or something. Preserved. Oh, and look, this tentacle-looking thing is half-eaten. This is someone's meal that they didn't finish. Tentacle? Gross. Man, I don't know. Some people really like that stuff. I had some fried calamari once at a gas station. It was pretty good, but I stripped a gear trying to chew the beak. You're supposed to take that out. If Sam and Ida preserved this half-eaten meal, it must have been pretty important to them, right? Maybe it belonged to someone they care about, like a beloved uncle had a mid-meal stroke, so they kept it in his memory. Yeah, like these sunflower seeds my folks left behind. God dang it. I'm sure your folks are fine, though. Are you worried about them? Yes, it's weird that they just disappeared. Yeah. Listen, that's okay to be worried. You're doing fine. Weird. Somehow I thought it was his truck and delivery and all. It was, that's what she's saying. But he gave it to her before they took him away. But you're gonna deliver it anyway. Why? He's my friend. He needs my help to finish his job. That's right. He's our friend too. Johnny and I will help you unload when you get there. Lift with your legs, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. So, how is everything? How's that sweet cave snail? Devastating. You're a killer, Ida. Well, I can't take all the credit. Sam came across a whole cave snail colony down there about a year back. We've been leaving rock candy for them to gorge on since. We just started harvesting earlier this month. It's all about patience down here. Everything grows more slowly in the dark. There's a fish in Lake Lee that lives to 200 years, and its flavor profile only develops at about 75. I've got a pot of bones in there that's been stewing for at least a week. I don't even remember why I put them on. Come to think of it, I don't even remember what kind of bones they are. We need one for the road. Claire said she wanted something primordial, she said. What does that mean? I think she meant something from very deep in the lake. Ah, could be. Here, you pick. I'm no good at this. She'd probably like... maybe mollusk cakes with orange butter sauce. Good choice. Your friend will love it. I'll have that right out, sweetie. Ezra leans over the table and carefully examines the preserved food and drink. He prods a half-eaten tentacle. The tentacle is solid and fixed in place. We used to steam those. Juicy. But I prefer them smoked now. Sorry I startled you, sweetie. Why didn't they finish their meal? Well, they had more than twice as much food as they really needed, so even half was too much. This food is about 15 years old, it's true. Things were different then. Nobody came to eat here. We were fighting just to keep the lights on. Sam, my husband, Sam was depressed. He couldn't catch anything. It was part of the problem. Most of what we served was shipped in frozen or dried, and I just threw it in the fryer. Come a long way since then. 2 young men came in for dinner, seasoned divers, they said, over 10,000 hours between them in Lake Leith alone. They'd been out all day salvaging parts from a riverboat wreck, and had worked up a fierce hunger, they said. They ordered the whole menu without even looking. It was a short menu in those days. Sat them right there and went back to the kitchen. Sam was at the next table doing a Sudoku and drinking malt liquor, his usual routine at the time. An hour later, I was cleaning up when Sam came bursting into the kitchen. Ida, he said, kind of frantic. These divers are still hungry. Bring them another course. And I said, they already ordered the whole menu. Sam said, make something new. Keep making up dishes, whatever. Just keep bringing out food. So I did until the small hours of the morning. Made up so many new dishes that night I could write a book. And it was good, inspired. But I was working so hot and fast at the burning edge of inspiration, I didn't think to write any of it down, and I was so wrecked with exhaustion the next day, I knew I couldn't remember what all I'd done in the kitchen. Sam thought we could take a photograph of the leftovers, but we couldn't get the lighting right, so we just shellacked the whole table. Now, when I need inspiration for the menu, I come and look here and think about all those ingenious dishes I threw together for those divers. Of course, they didn't pay their full bill. I heard one of them complaining to the other. Let's just pay half and let them charge the other half to whatever demon in the kitchen kept making up food faster than we could ask for it. But it all worked out. Things have really turned around since then. This place is actually pretty popular now. The success in our expanded menu inspired Sam, too. He started bringing back the most magnificent ingredients from his nightly dives. Better get to work. Stay right here, sweetie, and I'll bring you a treat on my way back out. My one criticism to the writer is that Southern people do not talk in sentences this long. They talk in short, staccato sentences. Well, buddy, I guess you're the catch of the day. The one and only. What are you? You look like, well, some kind of fish, I guess. Kind of a mopey little guy, huh? Yeah, I can see it in your eyes. Smell like sort of buttery. And that should be just fine. Skin feels like sandpaper. Oh, she'll figure something out. Think I'll call you Coldfish. Welcome to Sam and Ida's, the one and only Coldfish. I hope you enjoy your stay. I mean, not too much. Have you ever seen a creature like me before? You were pretty far down there. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm the first, except there were 2 divers who went before me long ago. Maybe that was before your time. How old are you, anyway, I wonder? They ate here once, back in the bad old days. 2 young guys, could have been brothers, maybe. I was over in the corner with my coffee and crossword. I haven't been able to catch a thing, so I just fried something up from frozen. Well, these guys were hungry enough to eat it and asked for more, and they did at least as much talking as eating. See, like I said, they were divers, and like I said, they might have been brothers. They had a kind of rivalry going between them or something. Ida was about to write up their check, but I slipped calmly and quietly into the kitchen for a minute and told her to just keep bringing out food. Figured they wouldn't notice, caught up in their boasting as they were, and I wanted to listen. I went back and forth for hours about all the deep and dangerous dives they'd been on. New tunnels they'd discovered, all the weird creatures they'd encountered at the weirdest depths of Lake Leith. It was like a dance, not like a boxed match. Each story went deeper than the last, and I listened to every word of it, memorized every description of every tunnel and diving route they discovered. It's my map now, you see. For 15 years I've been using routes these two divers discussed right there at that table. Yeah, I could write a guidebook to the depths of this lake, but I don't dare. Someone would steal my good diving spots, and then where would I be? See, people come here from all over just to try our daily catch because they know it's unique. Ain't you proud? Since I can't write any of it down, I just preserve that table where they had their meal so I can look at it to jog my memory. Like they were eating pickled crab when they talked about that shipwreck full of salamanders. Pretty clever, huh? It's my own secret code. I'll be straight with you, Coldfish. There is one feature of this arrangement that I find unsettling. In fact, I lose a decent amount of sleep over it. Told you those boys were competing, right? One-upping each other? I mean, each getting wilder and more adventurous as they traded tales? Well, I navigate mostly in the dark down there, just going by touch and a kind of mental picture I can construct from their detailed boasts. And every time I explore a new diving spot from these recollections, I have to weigh it all against the risk that I'm headed right into a dangerous falsehood. One of those men could have felt for a moment like he was losing some ground in their little duel, so he could have slipped a fake one in there. Maybe told a fib about some dive he went on, and found a colony of blind shrimp living in a discarded refrigerator. And when I get down there, my diving bell cracks open on a sharp rock, where he said the fridge would be. And that's the end of Sam of Sandonitis. To be honest, that possibility puts the fear of death in me every time I touch water. Hey Sam, good haul tonight. We'll see what you can make of it. Yeah, pretty good, I think. I had some trouble down by the narrow tunnel. Some kind of fast-growing freshwater barnacles just about sealed it up. Picked away for half an hour before I gave up and went around the other way. But I got the catch of the day, that's the important part. That's what people travel for. What's the catch today? This here's a coldfish. Mopey, sandpapery old fish. I don't know how she'll fix him, but that sandpapery quality ought to do something for, what did they call it? Mouthfeel? Will you stay for a drink? Got a dark rum that goes well with coffee. It's a bit early for me. Seems like it's always too early. Ah, she's got your food ready. She's got your food ready. You all enjoy your meal, alright?
This world is not my home. I'm just passing through. My treasures and my hopes are placed beyond the blue. Many friends and kin have gone on before, and I can feel at home in this world anymore. Oh Lord, you know,
Let's just listen to music for a minute.
I have no friend like you. If heaven's not my home, oh Lord, what will I do? Angels beckon me to heaven's open door, and I can't feel at home in this world anymore.
See that? Just looks like a swirling mess of garbage, doesn't it? Well, that's what it is. I don't know why trash seems to collect right there. Of all the spots in the lake, it's always been that way. Everyone just navigates around it like it was an island or something. I think I see some desks and chairs rolling around the edge there. Those all-in-one desks, like they have in schools, and if I remember right. It's been a few years since I saw the inside of one. Those must have washed down from somewhere. I've never known there to be a school on the lake. There was a Gemini School of Beauty. It was run by sisters, Cassie and Paula, indistinguishable except for their haircuts. But I wouldn't think they'd have used desks like that. We used to stop there almost every night to let someone offer a cheap haircut, student stylists, you know. They spared many a sailor the pain of a botched do-it-yourself do. But I guess they got in deep to the power company. These blow dryers and curling irons burn a lot of coal. It's a shame they had to close down. The haircuts are gone, but the hair keeps growing. Yeah, this cluttered place makes a decent local museum. It's as good a history as I could ever tell. We arrived at a small houseboat neighborhood that sometimes hosted concerts at the pleasure of its residents, where Clara was scheduled to perform that night. Junebug and Johnny watched the show from the dockyard with the others. A neighborhood. Kind of miss the mythic quality of other acts where it was like the Zero. Can I do anything? I can't. Okay. The Marquez Farm. Is that a theremin? Equisoils. It was a little bit more mythic in the earlier acts. Oh. I remember this. Told you so. Yeah, you don't have to say it. Only because it's always true. She played at the flower shop. Cyrano opened. He was having trouble with his tape machine, so he just droned out on the lap steel. He got really into it, and he went on for, like, forever. Everyone was falling asleep. Not everyone. I remember the air was warm and perfumed. You were playing with some petals you found on the floor, and I was looking at the ceiling. I remember the ceiling was glass during the week. That room was a greenhouse. I don't know where they put all the plants when they had the bands in. Maybe outside if the weather was nice. It was nice that night. Warm. Smelled like spring. I remember the folding chairs, so uncomfortable, but I guess it was their only option. They had to pack everything up during the week, so there'd be room to display the flowers. Wow. Look at Ezra. He's wrapped. He's really into it. So, we were talking about him earlier at the gas station. Sure, I haven't forgotten Cricket. Cool, yeah, I know. Annie, what do you think about Ezra traveling with us for a while? We were in the back, kind of looking around, people watching. I remember Cat sleeping in a chair. She was a scrawny calico. We'd seen her there before. She must have lived there. I wondered if she preferred the peace and quiet of the daytime flower shop, or the buzz of activity and ear-scratching strangers that came with nighttime concerts. Why do all the best music venues have live-in cats? I would have been content just to sit in that folding chair and drift on Cyrano's lap steel sound waves. But you were feeling restless, so we went for a walk. If I sound hesitant or something, it's just... When we met, we were nothing, just these little gray shadows, and we grew, and filled in, but we did all that together, Ezra. Alright, we did all that together. Ezra, sure he's just a kid, but he's already a person. What would that do to our system, our chemistry? We took a wrong turn in the hallway and ended up in the basement. I remember the air was cool and damp, like a cave. I remember the lingering perfume of the greenhouse giving way to an earthy plant smell, like we were digging down into the roots. A grimy door in the corner caught my eye. I remember the door was stuck. There was a large gap underneath it. He forced the door. It wasn't as stuck as we thought. The door burst open and we fell through. Hey, I got the masters for the new record back from Lazar. They're okay, but What? You listened to them without me. You're at the pet shop. I didn't think I could tear you free. Oh, okay. Anyway, there are a few spots where the string's distorted a little and the whole thing has way too much reverb, but overall it sounds pretty good. The new drum machine fits right into the mix. Nice. The only question is how to do it live. I can't control the drum machine and sing and dance at the same time. You've got your hands full of guitar. Switched on the lights. The room was crowded with colorful wreaths for births, quinceañeras, weddings, funerals. Celebratory wreaths, but there was something kind of sad about it. We got back to the greenhouse just as Clara was tuning up. She relaxed her shoulders, took a deep breath, raised both hands into their precise positions, and the room started shaking. Clara hit a note that made the glass rattle in sympathy, a perfect 2 octaves lower. She looked like a sorceress tearing down the building with an effortless wave, an incredible focus, coaxing the empty air into some kind of moaning, rattling demon. That's the thing about the theremin. It's the only instrument you never touch. Could see a wave of concern propagating through the greenhouse, people looking up at the trembling glass ceiling, looking at each other to see if anyone else was worried, trying not to catch Clara's eye and discern if she was doing it on purpose or not. If she were really trying to bury us all in glass. So how do you think we'll swing that, playing the drum machine live? We'll figure something out. Maybe glue it to the back of your guitar? Yeah. Or swap the buttons out for foot pedals. Or put the drums on tape beforehand like Cyrano does. I guess we do have a lot of options. Life is full of possibilities, Cricket. Yes, ma'am. It was a tense 5 minutes. We, the audience, alternated between fearing for our lives, lamenting hers that could have been given her the kind of emotional experience to play this devastating song. Then, slowly, gently, Claire's hands came to rest. The theremin went quiet. Glass stopped rattling and the room relaxed, unharmed. I met a photographer once, I mean one in particular. She even took my portrait. I can't imagine why. She said it would immortalize me. That was a metaphor, of course. She meant I'd never be forgotten. As she was disembarking, not far from here actually, the film fell out of her bag and she was borne away and... As she was disembarking not far from here actually, the film fell out of her pocket and was borne away by the current. I was working on deck at the time. She shot me a sad, apologetic glance, but I wasn't bothered. It's no shame to be forgotten. Act 4, Scene 11. Silo of Late Reflections. What's this place like? Dogwood Drive. It's in a small town, or... I really don't know. We've got the manifest the old man had in his truck here. Lizette's Antiques, mail order delivery, no return address. Shipping address 5 Dogwood Drive. Packing list. And then it's just numbers. I guess the inventory numbers of the antiques he was supposed to be delivering. Anyway, I'm glad you're coming with us. Yes. I'm always eager to see more of the country, and I enjoy the company. I'll have to find a bus or a train to get on to Nashville by evening. They have buses everywhere, right? Or hey, I could drive you to Nashville. Seems I have a truck now. Only, how are we going to get it up these stairs? It's quite a staircase. Is there another route? A tunnel or something? No way out but up. I guess we could wait for the mammoth to come back around and take us a little further down, but that won't be until late this afternoon. Looks like we're making the rest of this trip on foot. Is it safe to just leave the truck here? Sure. I don't think anyone but us could get it started again. Alright, Cricket, let's get this delivery packed and tied into bundles. We're hiking it upstairs. What's in there? Antiques, I guess? Antiques? Yeah, antiques are... It's like junk, but people will pay for it. Oh. Sorry, I guess you'll be taking the bus after all. It's okay. It will be an adventure. Tired? Don't worry, lady, we're almost there. And of Act 4. Hello? End of Act 4, okay. So, that was even longer than the other one. I got an achievement for Act 4. Un Pueblo de Nada, an island of nothing. When we come back after Thanksgiving, we'll do an island of nothing and Act 5. And then I believe we will be finished with Kentucky Route Zero. He is so spoiled. Can you hear him? Scratching at the door. My God, what a spoiled baby. So everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'm going to beat his ass. Not really. Everybody, enjoy your Thanksgiving. And I will see you when I get back to Louisville. If you have anything that I should check out after I finish up with Kentucky Route Zero, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know what it is. As I said a couple videos ago, I know that it's been a few videos. If you have music or TV shows or movies or anything that I should check out, go ahead and leave me a comment. Let me know. Other than that, yeah, just remember to like the video, and if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Any little bit helps me out. Yeah. I am going to let you all go for the night. Next week I will be in Dallas for Thanksgiving, and then when I get back to Louisville, I will finish up in Pueblo de Nada and Act 5, and then it looks like it loops around to Act 1 again. I'm assuming that once we finish Act 5, that's the end of the game. If there's more, we'll figure that out next time I record. But yeah, you guys have a good Thanksgiving. Enjoy your holiday. Hopefully you guys get off. Hopefully you guys don't have to work, don't have to think about too much, and get some rest and relaxation, maybe sometimes with friends and families. I know that these last couple of years have been pretty hard for, keeping in touch, seeing people. So I just hope that you guys have a good time. I'll see you in 2 weeks. I love you. And you guys have a good time.